we are a nation in decline. We are a failing nation. We are a nation that has the highest inflation in over 40 years, where the stock market just finished the worst first half of a year in more than 5 decades. We are a nation that has the highest energy cost in its history, and we are no longer energy independent or energy dominant, which we were just 2 short years ago. We are a nation that is begging Venezuela and Saudi Arabia for oil. We are a nation that surrendered in Afghanistan, leaving behind dead soldiers, American citizens, and $85 billion worth of the finest military equipment in the world. We are a nation that allowed Russia to devastate a country, Ukraine, killing hundreds of thousands of people, and it will only get worse. We're a nation that has weaponized its law enforcement against the opposing political party like never before. We've never seen anything like this. We're a nation that no longer has a free and fair press. Fake news is about all you get. We're a nation where free speech is no longer allowed, where crime is rampant like never before, where the economy has been collapsing, where more people died of COVID in 2021 than in 2020. We are a nation that is allowing Iran to build a massive nuclear weapon and China to use the trillions and trillions of dollars it's taken from the United States to build a military to rival our own. We are a nation that over the past 2 years is no longer respected or listened to all around the world. And we are a nation that is hostile to liberty and freedom and faith. We are a nation whose economy is floundering, whose stores are not stocked, whose deliveries are not coming, and whose educational system is ranked at the bottom of every list. We are a nation that in many ways has become a joke. But soon we will have greatness again. It was hardworking patriots like you who built this country, and it is hardworking patriots like you who are going to save our country. There is no mountain we cannot climb. There is no summit we cannot reach. There is no challenge we cannot meet. There is no victory we cannot have. We will not bend. We will not break. We will not yield. Ever, ever, ever. We will never give in. We will never give up. And we will never, ever back down. We will never let you down. As long as we are confident and united, the tyrants we are fighting do not stand. Because we are Americans, and Americans kneel to God and God alone. And it is time to start talking about greatness for our country again.
Welcome back to another Night of Stick with Koolfrogg. I do have Winning Reality with me. AmericaShirts says that he's going to be running a little bit late. Let's all check for him. Let's get him in here. Let's go, AmericaShirts. Let's say hello to chat real quick. Hello, Patrick Kennedy. If you're still with us, I see that you did this like 10 o'clock this morning. Says that he rated me. It had 25 people waiting. I'm like, whoa, what? I have no clue who rated me at 10 o'clock this morning and who brought these people in here to actually throw a bunch of likes at me. It's wonderful. Thank you so much. Hello, Germs, if you're still in here. I don't know if you're in here or not. Yeah, that's these messages, a while ago, like 11 o'clock this morning. Heidi, Jay-Z, Ishcade. Let's talk about prepping. We got a black sheepdog. Tam's here. Brian, what's up, my man? The KC Goody is in the house. That's fun. Trucker John, good to see you, my man. Everybody make sure that you hit that like button for me. Let's see who we at. Ashley, how you doing, dear? Fearless. I've never seen that name before. hit that like button for me, my man. If you haven't, hit the subscribe button. We will have some fun tonight. We're gonna just sit around and chew the fat and have some fun. Debbie Moncrief, how you doing, dear? What's up, Brian? How you doing, my man? So, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. Listen, you got lots of background noise. What's going on? You got your fan on?
What is that? Oh yeah, hold on.
No, you're fine. If you need to, you make sure that you stay cool. Don't go off of what we were saying. Happy, how's it going? Jules of Cali, welcome.
All right, that ought to be better. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a little better. Not too. I mean, it's fine for what it is. But you always get background noise. Background
really?
is oh yeah. Room noise is kind of interesting. It's really dependent on the software that you're actually using. Is like I use Voice Mod. Its clean version actually allows a filter to actually be put in place to actually cancel background noises. That's why when I go back and I listen to my stuff, I hear nothing in my background, but I hear something in everybody else's. It's really strange and interesting how background noise, room noise, can actually be heard. See, now I don't hear anything in your background. So I mean,
is that better? I just turned down my my gain.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but I think StreamYard is like automatically adjusting it.
It does. The StreamYards does have an auto. That can be changed. There is a way to actually go and
should I change that?
Turn off the auto for you. So
yeah, I can
auto adjust.
There you go.
Right.
Is that better?
There you go. Well, we need you to go all the way down that far. We'll turn you up a little bit more. There you go. I don't want to be blowing them out and have them turning up their TVs to hear you. You know, so as far as that goes, I'm usually fairly loud because I actually sit right up on top of my microphone. It's like we got
so
Mike.
I'm pretty close.
Mike Hogan, Hagen, how you doing, my man? Yeah, we could talk about roses in the house. Yeah, there's a lot of people in here right now. That's awesome. We got 30 people in here right now, and we're just sitting there talking about room noise.
Yeah. All right. Sound check's over. Time to hit the stage.
Right.
All right.
So again, AmericaShirts said that he was going to be late. Everybody, give me a good chant for him. Flood the chat with AmericaShirts and see if we can't summon him. He's always good to have around because he'll actually speak up. He won't let there be dead noise. He'll just be like, "So," with his little squeaky little voice. Yeah, there you go. There it is. Shirts. What's that?
So I'm gonna jump in if you want. I got a few.
Oh yeah, if you got something that you want to actually share, go ahead and do it.
Well, yeah, I was just from the other night. You know, I'm learning more about you as we're getting to know each other. You know, I came to understand that you are a stay-at-home father and you have quite a few children and family.
It's just one that I take care of. So as far as that goes.
Oh, okay. But no, I just say that's very admirable and very respectable, and that's very cool. I'm a single father myself, and I have one child. And you know that I really love the big family, lots of kids stuff. I wish I had more kids, and I wish that you know I would do being a parent the rest of my life. You know, it's been the best time. You know, for all the things I've done in this life so far. You know, I've been on tour in the band. I've gotten degrees. I've had different careers. I've traveled the world. I've been to some really huge, great parties. I've been in really awesome places at big events. You know, all of that. Nothing has compared to being a father. It's been the best part of my life. And yeah, I wish I could just do it.
I agree with you. I agree with you so much on that because having the time to actually sit and take care of the child all day long is so fun. Teaching them how to do things, it's like I go on I started singing the alphabet while he washes his hands so that he gets that stuck in his head that he needs to keep his hands under the water for, over 20 seconds or whatever to actually get the best. Uh, so every now and then he was like, "Dad, I need help washing hands." So it's like you go and you put the stool down for him. He climbs up there, he puts his hands under the water, and he immediately starts singing. It's great.
That's
It's like,
awesome.
yes,
They're
that's
so
what you're
cute.
supposed to do, right?
That's some pro dad moves right there too, by the way. And I bring that up because I wanted to make the point of the importance of that in a person's life, if that's in the cards for you. But that the family unit, and that's something that unfortunately the situation I fell into isn't going to happen the same way. But I really admire and respect, and I'm really happy for the people that do have that, and I encourage that. And for all the people out there who are on the fence about things like this, have society and worry and expectation and all those things are in your head, maybe keeping you from pursuing that in your best years to do it, the best years to find someone who's healthy and who will be there with you through this great journey and the amazing part of life of becoming a parent. It's not for everybody, but I'd say if you feel it, don't let anything stop you from doing it. The most important part is how it starts and finding that healthy person to start a family with. And I tell you what, I started a little late. I started very late, but the first thing I thought of after he was born was, I just wish I had more time. Just wish I had more time.
Well, I mean, as far as that goes, having a 3-year-old at the age of 45, I mean, my last child here, it came very late in life, and not doing the things I should have done for the first couple and doing it for this one really changed my attitude a lot. Like, I was like super not caring about anything. I barely even cared about myself, to turn it around and actually, showing that I can actually take care of somebody else as well as myself, and cleaning a house and making sure food's ready for the wife when she walks in the door. It really does make you feel good about yourself when you actually get to do that.
Yeah, I think tell me if you feel the same way, but I think when you have kids older, you immediately get the idea that you want to make every moment count. You want to be there as much as possible and get as much time with them as you can, because there's a sense that that you might not be there during their the same age that we are right now. Like, so we not be around when they're this age. And for me, that that with him not having any siblings and such, it just really I hope that he has a family going strong by the time I check out, and he's really loving the best part of life. I think we all see
the way I look at it is the way things are going, and other than recently or whatever, with the way politics have been infiltrated our lives, the way things were going with healthcare and how things were actually working out, that I would actually live into 100 120 easy, just because of the way things have actually progressed. And obviously we can't say, yeah, I'm going to live that long and that's how it's going to be. Obviously we all have to make just good decisions, eating patterns, walking every day, to keep yourself from actually gaining that weight. Because dead weight really is a thing. It's amazing how much weight you gain when you actually sit around and eat the same thing that you're feeding your kids. And it's like, I really need to actually feed them better. It's like, if I'm feeding him better because I don't feel like we're eating correctly, apparently I need to feed myself better as well.
That's the thing about being a dad, is we always sacrifice ourselves first. We go last. We may get the big piece of chicken, but we go last when it comes to everything else, and that's in our nature to sacrifice for our family and make sure that they have the best things that they need every day before we take ours. And that's just the mentality when you become a father, that you have a responsibility and you have a duty to them, and that becomes your primary purpose in life, which is amazing because it's the one purpose that gives such amazing returns that you have to be there to experience it, right? It's the undescribable. Yeah, definitely. But
I'm kind of interested. Kara Fruman says choppy.
I am.
Is that something? Is it specific one of us? Is that the whole show? Is anybody else having the same experience? I'm really interested in what that's actually pertaining to, because I don't want to.
I did hear a little bit on your mic, but I wasn't sure whether it was a show or what.
Make sure that all my
20 and 22. I was reading the chat here. Thanks, Ish. Brian saying he has
Brian Manuel. His kids are 20, 22. Yeah.
Yeah. That's fun. Definitely. Wow. It goes by fast. It does. My son's 12 now, and I'm going to go pick him up from camp tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to seeing him. He's been at camp all summer. This has been an amazing thing. Like, with the COVID and the way kids are kind of being
watch the use of that particular word.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, you're fine. You're fine. We're not doctors. We're not lawyers. We're not trying to tell anybody to do what they need to do. They should actually go do what's best for them.
Yes.
Just
taking our advice on
throw
that
a quick disclaimer out there on that. Just to be sure that everybody understands. We're not trying to tell people what to do.
Yep. So, with that thing. And,
most people are not having an issue. Kara, if you're still having issues, my suggestion would possibly be to restart the stream, come back in here and see if that actually fixes it. I don't know what else to tell you on that, because I've several other people are saying that they're not having an issue. I just want everybody to be happy with their experience with us tonight. Hello, Short Order. How you doing? As you can tell, I usually pay attention to my chat. I do try reading as much chat as I possibly can. Even if I don't read it out loud, I will read it to myself. If you want something, have any questions for anything, or you would like something read out, make sure that you actually tag me in it. It'll actually come up orange for me, and I'll be able to see that you actually had something to say. Like Brian Manuel, he just put in Koolfrogg. Nope, sounds good to me. Not choppy or broken up. I can see that Koolfrogg. Yeah, so as far as that goes, it is in orange, and I can actually see that. Back to the kid thing. Having 3 children, oldest is ready to turn 25 in a few months. Youngest, or the middle daughter, she's 13, gonna be 14, and then my little one just turned 3 the other day. So
Wow.
My children, all being 10 years apart, like the oldest and the youngest, have never met each other. They have no clue that each other exist. So it's not that they're actually constrained to this middle child syndrome, younger child syndrome, or whatever. None of that, because they're not really stuck together. They're not in the same household all the time. Not that that's really the best thing for everybody, but maybe it is. Maybe it is, because maybe they'll actually all just be like their individual children and realize that they don't need to be constrained to some weird strangeness. And Kirk says, I'm subscribed and not getting notifications. I'm not getting notifications. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you on that one. It is very annoying that happens, and I feel bad. I really do.
Wow, I'm impressed. So I'm trying to pronounce her name right. I just say Ish, but Ishkade?
It's Ish. Yeah, just call her Ish.
Okay. So she has 10 grandkids and one that still hasn't had any yet. Wow. See, that's amazing, because here
right.
is is, and when has her family around her, she's honored as the matriarch of that family, and all the hard work she's put in all these years to her kids, making sure that they made it to adulthood, happy, healthy, and functioning adults to take on the world. And the what comes back around is you get a second experience with the little ones through your grandchildren. That's just amazing. I'm very happy for you. That's what it's all about, people. That I'm telling you, I've done. Like I try to preface the story by saying all the things that I've done, right, and how important they were to me when I was single and not a father, and how great they were, and how hard I worked to do them, and how much they meant. And then just to have that little one in my hands for just a minute, and it was all like, okay, I would never trade this for all of that ever, you know.
Right.
So
Exactly.
yeah, I don't think that gets talked
It's
about enough.
amazing how many times in the last few weeks that such a conversation has come up, and all these women that are sitting in my chat that all say, "Oh, I got this many grandchildren. I get this many children." I've seen this. I've seen this several times. It's like it's so awesome. It's so awesome to see that they all know how many kids, how many grandkids, their ages, and actually, are in their lives. It's awesome to see. It's
Mhm.
great.
Absolutely.
Uh,
And people like us that are, that are awake and aware of the world and trying to do the right thing, and solidly on the side of what's good in this world and right. We're the ones who need to have the most children, and teach them how to navigate this world and what's right, because one day they'll be in charge, and how
right.
to handle it. Like my son's never been to a public school or anything, and I work remotely, so he does online school. He's had the best years of his life, grades of his life doing online school. Like, it's been amazing. Like, all the private schools he went to, um, man, there were always issues, and then they kind of sneak stuff in, even in private schools. I got a call one day from his last one, and they're like, I didn't get a permission slip for your son to come with us on our field trip today. Is it okay if he goes? I was like, well, what's the field trip? And his grades were already kind of struggling at that school too, um, because one of the teachers was just nasty to him, and he just lost his kind of love for wanting to learn as much as he used to have. So I was like, well, what's the field trip? Oh, we're going down to meet this group, and they're going to talk about um, activism. I was like, activism? What do you mean? He goes, like activism, like protesting and social justice and things like that. I was like, no, Cole, he can stay at school and study in study hall. Thanks. Yeah, he was out quickly after that. I was like, you got to be kidding me. The reason why I'm paying extra money is paying money for school, this much money, is that I'm trying to keep him away from that. And here you guys are dragging him right into it. Crazy, man. And he had a girlfriend, and she was a grade higher than him and maybe 2 years older than him. But they got along great, man. Really cool. Went over there, hung out at their parents' house, and met them. I kind of got a vibe for what they were like when the mother came running out hysterical because Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, screaming, "He's gonna get another one! He's gonna get another one!" And I was just standing there with my ex. We both looked at each other, like, "Oh, geez, oh no," But we just went along with it. It's cool. It's for Cole. So so anyway, so I hear now, like, they kind of got separated by their grades, but then we left the school. Now I hear now she is now identifying as something different. I'm not sure what it is, if it's a boy or something in between, but and it is now called something else. So I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me, man. It's like it's creeping in on all around us around here, and it's just the more healthy kids, the more healthy people, the better, because there's definitely an agenda to make unhealthy people by getting access to kids, and confusing them during a time of learning in their life when they're not capable of seeing the big picture or making decisions or even contemplating consequences, long term. They don't have the knowledge, the vision, the understanding yet, of how to even think that far ahead. So, it's scary, and even though it is, we still have to push through. We still have to keep going, because one day it'll turn around, and our kids could experience a true golden age. That's what we can do with the rest of our lives. And we think generationally.
True.
Because our enemy thinks generationally.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is the way we've been teaching things lately or whatever. It seems as though a lot of these teachings of having a quote unquote nuclear family has really kind of gone to the wayside because of the way the government is funding and offering monies to single moms. The amount of money that's actually allocated to single moms is really ridiculous, and it's almost like they're promoting you to actually do that, and it's kind of scary.
Yeah, absolutely. And breaking up the family is definitely on the agenda for them, because the family is what is the family is what the is what holds up the power structure in this country, for the people, that is, because the family unit is strong. What you learn at the end of the road here, well, the end of the road, but what you learn throughout life. Maybe some people learn it earlier, some people learn it later, but that no one is really going to be there for you, and then but your family, and ups and downs, changes in the world and yourself as you mature, as you grow, all the things, right? At the end of the day, it's your family that's there for you. And those who covet that idea really understand it, because they reap the benefits of it. But that unity has built communities, and it's built the strength of the people of this country. And with that gone, then everybody off on their own, independent, and not thinking in that kind of way, it just opens the door for easily being divided, turning people into very self-centered individuals that are seeking pleasure or to escape. And I've seen all this stuff throughout my time, and it's pretty obvious that when you come from a strong structure to begin with, you have a better quality of life. You make better decisions innately. And you've probably seen these people. You sound like a pretty solid dude yourself, but I would say, as I was going along, and me being somewhat behind the curve in that department early on, I would admire the guys who seemed like they really understood things and knew what they were doing, and they had some kind of wisdom ahead of their age. And in every case, it was someone who came from a really good family, and they became really good, like role model kind of people to be like, I need to, take this more seriously. I need to, realize that, there's a lot more to life than just running around and having fun.
Right. Real quick, there's a couple people that had a couple things to say that I
Sure.
found a little interesting. So Ish had said at winning, my youngest wants to say that she's bi because of the things that it's the thing to be. She's never dated or been with a female. I just have to let her be, or else she says I'm not letting her be her. Just hate the way they're teaching these kids these days to quote unquote identify as something, and
It's flat out
find
abuse.
seriously it is. It's kind of disgusting and very disturbing.
Well, it's good that we're talking about it, because we have to look at it like abuse, and we don't tolerate abuse, right? Our job as parents and people who want to be parents one day, we call it the Breeders' Club, if you will. But our job is to protect our kids and the kids of other people, and they're and make sure that this generation makes it to maturity, happy, healthy, and good quality people for the world, right? Because when we do that, we know that we are owning our responsibility and putting out healthy healthy people in this country to form the society, and we are also helping more healthy people, healthy relationships down the road, because we're looking out for everybody else. So if we think about it, what's the biggest group of individuals, let's say a biggest group or faction or whatever you want to call it, like what dwarfs any other group if we put it together, right? And I would say that what the biggest block of voters or people or whatever categories you want to throw them into would be parents. Like if every parent came together for the single idea of protecting children against threats, that we all agree on, we would dwarf any resistance at all. And when we realize that we don't have to agree on politics, we don't have to agree on anything, religion or anything like that. If we can agree on it is our responsibility as parents to protect our children against all threats at all time. If we can agree on that, just one idea,
Right.
We can have unity as parents, and we can take the stuff out fast.
So then, real quick, say hello to AmericaShirts.
How's it going?
Hello. Oh,
Mhm.
by the way, you summoned me, so I appeared, and I heard somebody in the chat say something about growing microgreens. Was that?
Yeah. Let's talk about prepping. Actually, said if you talk about microgreens, he'll just show up.
I mean, it may have
we
taken a
haven't
little
talked
bit,
about
but-
microgreens. We're talking about micro children. It's fun.
Micro children? What?
What? What's going on, my man? Anyway, there was a couple other comments that had come through that I thought were slightly interesting. Ish says they make it sound like a lot, but it's not. Say you get 500 per child in child support, the state will give you 300 per child and keep an extra 2. No, I get that because I paid child support for my first 2. I'm still paying child support for my second one. And when it comes down to it, yeah, I see that. I see how much they want me to actually pay. And I talk to the mom still, and the mom tells me how much she actually gets, and be like, you should get this. And she's like, I don't get that. I only got this. You're like, yeah, well, there's nothing I can do about that. You can take that up with the state. She's like, I think you need to pay more. I'm like, well, take it up with the state. See how how far that actually goes, because that's simply how it actually works. It's very disturbing that the state will sit there and benefit off of somebody paying child support. The state shouldn't benefit off of any of that.
Sounds like a racket, right?
Yeah, exactly. Just like everything else that the government gets their hands into, right?
Yep. Hey, well, to respond to Ish on that, the best response to that when you get it from any kid is to say, this isn't a decision you can make. You're not having sex. I mean, it's just like, you can't make a decision like that when you have no experience with what you're trying to make a decision about. This is just a trend, a game. It's not appropriate for kids to play. And so, we don't want to participate in that. We don't want to be part of that. And you have to educate your kids. And, I realize that you're way down the road with that, but, you have to educate your kids from the start now. Like you have to be involved from the very beginning, which we should be. What it really does is it's really just waking us back up as to what it means to be a parent, and what you need to do from the start with children in order to keep them safe, especially in this world today. I took the approach. I have a media studies background, degree. And so I took the approach of early media studies for my son. Like I taught him how everything worked before he even got involved in watching any kind of shows. Like
Uh,
I took
real
my
quick,
time.
let's say hello to the raid. Madcore Mofo just raided us. It's awesome.
How's it going?
Thank
Welcome.
you, Madcore. It's great to see y'all. If I miss anything, because now it's jumping up, it's saying that we're up to about 48 people in stream at the moment. Everybody coming in, welcome. Thank you. Hit that like button. If you hadn't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We're just gonna, sit around. We're having a chill stream tonight with a winning reality. Everybody go check out the descriptions down below. You'll actually see that he does have a description line for himself that you can actually go sub to. Real quick, while we got this many people, what do you normally do? What's your channel about?
Oh, okay. Well, my channel is about promoting the idea of a solution culture in a whole. Like that's probably a high level explanation of it. I hit a lot of different topics. I hit narcissistic abuse. I hit I'm going to say a bunch of words. I'll probably get us in trouble. But I hit subversion really hard. I hit root cause issues and solutions to them. So I actually have solutions that I present, the workable solutions that people can actually do themselves, get involved in. It does require, a commitment to wanting to fix things now. Government and what we do with voting is
Wait. You mean to tell me that in order to fix something, I have to get off from my rump?
Yes,
They laid me
that
a
is
little
exactly what he's saying. He's get
What?
off your ass and do something.
bit. My background is like I've been part of the information battle and understanding the truth movement and other things for like well over a decade. I always forget my dates going back and trying to figure out. It's like probably say 2005 is when I started. So I've seen a lot. I have a lot of stories about my past and online activism and the types of things we did. I was, I did a lot of debunking of like major conspiracy theories and stuff that were trying to suck people down a rabbit hole. I actually ran across a person and had a long campaign with them, just in protection mode, basically, but of the people that were there, because a lot of times patriots were getting sucked into these things, and it was discrediting what was going on or pulling them off track, right? And one of them was a guy that I call Original Q. And the interesting thing about him is a guy, his name is Drake, right? And if anybody has ever heard of Drake or was there, please speak up, because I like to talk to you. Because I am kind of doing a big story on him. But he's the original Q. So the whole thing, the plan and all that stuff that was talked about in the military and the secret codes.
My God.
He did it first. He did it 10 years earlier during the Ron Paul days.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Got the
Oh my
recordings,
God.
pictures,
Oh
stuff.
my God.
So good stories like that and other things that we did in that during that time period. I talk about that as well. And then it kind of like brings things kind of full circle to today as well. But taking on the major issues, thinking about solutions that we can work together on. And that's what it is.
Leslie Kohler says, "What are you talking about?" Right now, we're trying to understand what winning reality really wants to do, and what he's actually, he's been doing. He's been doing an awful lot. It sounds like he wants to do more. You were
Where
just
did
doing
you come
clips.
from? What
What's
do
that?
you want to do with your life?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Ah, geez.
Oh yeah, that was Twisted Sister. I knew what you were doing. We're not gonna take it.
That's Carrie Lake's theme.
Oh, yeah.
And Twisted Sister can suck it, because that's her song. Now she paid for it. Screw you. They're like
Toy
going
box,
on social
toy box
media,
brain.
going
Take care
crazy.
of yourself, brother.
And she's like, I paid for the song that you played.
Um,
They're like, no, she can't play that song. It's really sad.
It's like, go back to obscurity.
certain words can't be said in chat either. You guys, kind of pay attention to what you're actually talking about. Just saying. We
So what I'm
can't.
doing
We
right now
can't.
is,
We can't speak of the Koof, and neither can you. Just saying.
I was just going to add that what I'm doing right now, I thought about this after the fact, is I'm actually doing a rundown of I kind of modernizing ideological subversion and the Yuri Bezmenov stuff, and I'm looking at that and going through it with my chat, and then also I got the documents that are in his book, and I'm gonna modernize it and kind of make it relatable to today, because I think that I know some people give it a hard time or they don't quite understand how it applies, and that's what I want to try to help bridge that gap, because Yuri, believe it or not, is a major red pill for people. A lot of people, when they see it for the first time, maybe they're pretty far down the road, or maybe they're just kind of like getting down the road to learning about what's really going on in the world. They can relate to this because it kind of points out things they can see themselves. And
hold on, I gotta call it. Let's talk about prepping here real quick. He says, "Twisted Sister, one hit wonder." Really, we're not gonna take it. I want to
Mr.
rock.
Crawley,
I mean, there's Burn in Hell. I mean,
Yeah, right.
how many songs do you think that they
Go
actually
Koolfrogg.
had, but to make themselves a one-hit wonder? There's so many songs that were so good. I said Burn in Hell because Burn in Hell is the actual song from 1984 off the Stay Hungry album.
Oh, I thought you were telling
we're
them
going to
go
take
burn
it from.
hell, but okay, whatever.
There's so many songs
Great
that they
song.
actually put out that are wonderful songs. To say that they're a one-hit wonder, I don't know what you're talking about, brother.
No doubt. I guess eventually we'll get around to the rock and roll stories, but that's just like, that'd be might be for fun way down the road. I wonder what most people in here, what kind of music they like. The range of music.
I would almost think it would be very full of range and very eclectic at its own. I really don't see it being like one set of songs. Because if you asked me what I listen to or whatever, I'd be like Tom Petty. Because I'm a little bit older, so that's is something that I always listen to.
Cool. Yeah.
They call me Rose. I'm always quiet, but Koolfrogg interrupting to defend Twisted Sister's everything.
Yeah, that was great.
That's fun. Let's talk about prepping. You're gonna get it next time you're in stream, dude. We're gonna talk about Twisted Sister and all the good songs that they actually had. Sorry, I didn't mean to break up your little speech of what you do and how because you've just pretty much done a whole series of shorts, correct? You haven't really done the live streaming as much.
I'm just getting started with that. Yeah, I haven't done that much live streaming yet. Just getting going. I put out a lot of videos early on. Well, from the start. It's only been like 4 months, I think. So I put a lot. I've been putting videos out, and then
You've been doing this for only 4 months. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, I had a channel that wasn't like back in the old days of YouTube. That was just I just used it as a place to upload like videos that we shared in our group out. So it's just more of like a propagating website. It wasn't like anything. I wasn't trying to, get subscribers or live stream. They had live streaming, then it was just really new.
Dare you?
So it was just a place for my team to kind of use as a repository for good videos that we wanted to share out at different times.
You are supposed to make money for the all-powerful Susan Wojcicki.
I did.
Or you are gone, banished from this realm.
I think I averaged $100 a month. That was crazy. I didn't really expect that, but that's what happened.
Let's talk about prepping. Says someone insults Twisted Sister. Koolfroggs. We're not gonna take it.
That's awesome. I was impressed at how fast you whipped those songs out too. I was like, wow.
My chat is awesome. Well, I mean, kind of grew up listening to this stuff, you know. So I mean, a
Yeah.
lot of it really, though I don't remember so many things through my life ever, is I do remember the 80s. The 80s are the best.
Man, I tell you what, the 80s, growing up watching 80s movies and 80s shows and even back to 70s shows, but really 80s movies, I think that was like a big influence on our, that generation. Our generation was like, was those movies, because they all had this like carefree, party hard, good times, everybody gets laid kind of vibes to them. And, with music and, just there's always the authoritarian person trying to hold everybody down. And, and everybody just gets away with just doing the craziest stuff and having fun and laughing. And then it always ends on a good note. Like it's always a happy ending, right? So
Now it all is just hell.
right, it's changed
America
a lot.
Shirt says everybody got laid. Damn, I wish I was that.
It's just hell on earth now. That's exactly what it is.
Well, then we all went to college and relived it, right? So
Oh, and you people think I'm kidding. It's literal hell. Like they're literally depicting Satan in like every other music video at this point. It's like, it's like, hey, let's worship this giant bull that's going through here and call it the aura of light and all these other weird Luciferians and whatever. That's television. That's sports. That's entertainment. That's all of this shit. That's,
that is definitely.
I mean, that's a whole other. Whatever,
that is definitely a weird thing about modern culture. That's so.
They love the devil.
Yeah, that they've just integrated it so seamlessly, and then everybody's like, "Oh yeah, that's nice. Oh, look at that." It's just like, and some of us see it and we're like, "Holy, can you believe they're doing this?"
Oh, you can say you just simply say, "Holy shit."
Holy shit.
It's okay.
And it's not that
It's
we're
okay.
goody two shoes.
Just as long as you're not sitting there like
blatant.
every other word, shit, because
no worries, man.
Too much.
I mean, I was listening to Jack Posobiec was on Tim Pool's podcast Friday, and I was listening to some of that, and they were talking about like, oh yeah, like I grew up like, they wanted to like make this Pizza Hut. They wanted to do a Pizza Hut thing. And like rename it something else other than Pizza Hut, but it's like exactly like Pizza Hut. They were like talking about like, yeah, let's do this business, whatever. And because they all love Pizza Hut. And they were like, oh yeah, in the Pizza Hut, and you got this, you have that little thing or whatever. Like it's like a communal type of a place. And then in the background, you got to play like Steve Urkel. Oh yeah, you got to have Steve Urkel. You got to have this show. You got to have this, whatever. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, there's literally no television show for the past 20 years that is appropriate for young people to have watched. I mean, it just doesn't exist.
Right.
2 decades of total hell. Other than, I mean, well, I shouldn't say that necessarily because like, you have to, turn the age of like 18 or over to even watch a comedy show anymore. It's like,
right.
I mean, for God's sake, everything is this way. So it's like, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, holy shit. I can't think of anything. Like, I mean, I watched old television shows when I was younger. I watched some of those older ones because my mother would never allow me to watch some of those other things. And then sometimes you get a flash that on television and it's just like, whoa, dial it back there a little bit. Holy crap.
Right. It's like things are so blatantly in our face, shoved in your face now. And it's like, just everything seems so forced and labored. And it's like when you see that, you think about it and it's like, okay, so behind this is somebody who thinks this is the way to make unity in our society. Like that's what we're supposed to think. That's what we're supposed to think about their intentions. And that's what they really believe that's what their intentions are. But anybody that can look at it and see the effects it would have and follow things to the logical conclusion couldn't possibly come up with the results that it's going to form unity somehow by doing it like this. It seems more intentional to divide us further because it's like, haha, we're in your face. What are you going to do about it? Haha, it's more like that. And when we've grown up seeing different types of entertainment and we've seen the evolution of the de-evolution of it into just garbage kind of piece together pieces of social engineering. You know,
Oh, that's literally all it is anymore. It's just
yeah,
pure, unadulterated social engineering.
exactly.
Nothing but that. The entire thing is nothing but social engineering. It's nothing but propaganda, and it's nothing but predictive programming type stuff. I mean, all of it. It's just filled, riddled with all of this stuff.
Exactly. Yep. You know, they can't expect that we wouldn't see through that, right? that we know that that's not a good intention, or there's somebody really, maybe we're supposed to believe they're really stupid, and then everybody else that approved it's really stupid, and then everybody that did it's really stupid. You know, I don't think that that's the case, at least at some level of the productions that are going on and the decisions that are being made. I think we all know that, right? It's pretty obvious, I think. So like what we do, what I like to do at least is I like to kind of figure out why that's happening and what's beneath that, because I want to figure out how to solve the problem, right? So here's a question that I like to ask, and everybody play along. Can you imagine a scenario where people like us are able to win the battle against the corrupt, evil people that are currently causing these issues, and really reclaim our country and put it back on the right track? Can you imagine a scenario like that where we haven't addressed the issues like we're seeing now, like the entertainment industry being, social engineering, the media being, propaganda, and the control of language, where these words and have been created and redefined over and over and over again? I know some people want to create new culture right now, and I think that's great, but I'm just wondering how they expect to hold on to it when they can't control the words that may take it right away from them one day. So the question was like, can you imagine a scenario where we actually win, but we don't address these problems ahead of time?
I'm a maniac, man. I don't think it's ever going to be over. I think it's pretty much going to be, where it is, and it's going to be a struggle for a long time to even think that we can actually bring something close to where it was, because this isn't the thing that's really like absolutely new to our society or
You know
whatever.
what? I have a
Been
solution.
it's been going
Let's.
for a long time now. Like when I say a long time,
Oh no.
like they've been teaching this stuff for a while. They've been teaching things like CRT since the mid 90s, and it's been infiltrating our us in our government for so long that it's going to take a long time for us to get back to where we were, if we ever do get back to where we were.
But I think I have a solution to this. I've been watching a little bit of cable news. Perhaps this has affected my brain with like some mainstream media brainworms or something. But perhaps we could like print more money and then throw that at all of our problems, and that will probably solve it. You think I'm right?
Well, you never know.
Do I have some like brainworms I need to like get rid of? Whatever? Have like Alex Jones screaming in my ears for like 5 minutes straight and like just burn them out of my brain.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I want to answer the question that
the water's turning the frogs gay.
I do think it's going to be over, and here's the thing: it's like, what do you mean by over? And like, that's probably the better question to ask in response to that statement. But I do think there is an end game. I do think there is a direction that things are being steered in, and I think if you piece together a timeline of the changes, you'll see that there has definitely been. I don't think that. Does anybody think that these trends and the way that things have kind of moved along is 100% coincidental? I mean, I don't think that. We're talking about social engineering. We're talking about how far back it goes. We can talk about how far back the corruption of the government goes. We can kind of trace that back a little bit. I don't think that it's all just for fun and games. I think it has intention and an end game, if you will. But I think that we're being my perception right now is that we're being stalled in this kind of awareness research loop, right? And I don't know how many people know about this, but there's this thing called what in sales and marketing we call the buyer's journey, right? I call it the buy-in journey of the, so it kind of fits better into the scenario. But the idea is that humans go through 4 stages before they decide to purchase something, right? There's the awareness stage where you become aware of what it is. It could be an idea or product or whatever, right? Then there's the research phase, okay? When you kind of figure out the things you need to figure out, you look into it, and maybe you do some reviews and stuff. There's the consideration phase, right? And there's the decision phase. And if you look at the email marketing that you get, right? If you sign up for a website, you want some information, you're interested, okay? You are automatically put into the awareness stream. So you will receive content that tells you awareness things to raise your awareness about the product or service or whatever that you're looking at, right? And that once you get 2 or 3 of those in a row, you'll be moved over to the research stream. You'll start getting content that's more research bound. Now, if you click through, you download some more stuff, you click around the website, you might advance a little bit faster down to the decision stage. And if you're in business, like B2B marketing, B2B business, like business to business sales, then you're likely to get a phone call or a meeting request at that point where a salesperson is reaching out to you to try to gauge your interest and close a deal. That's the way digital marketing and sales is done these days. But that philosophy of the stages to buy in applies to everything that's out there as far as what's being given to us, right? So the stages of buying into something is the same. So a lot of times, if we're stuck in this awareness research loop where we can't ever get to a consideration or decision phase, right? We're stalled. We can't get on offense. We can't put solutions to work that are really going to solve the root cause issues. So we sit around and we wait for government and elections, and we talk about it a lot, and we get outraged, and we share stuff and tell more people about it, hoping something's going to happen. But at the end of the road, because the government's taken over so much of the responsibility and bureaucracy has, we don't ever get to the point where we're talking about real solutions and how to put them into play. And it's not that difficult. People are smart, and a lot of people together are really smart, and they're motivated when they have a cause, like kids, like a future, like freedom, like liberty, things that we enjoy, things that we want to keep, and all the social issues that we fight about and have differing opinions about, those go out the window the second we lose. So I think that they're important, but I think they can kind of go on the shelf until we get the corruption out of the system, and then they'll all get a fair shake, hopefully, right? Maybe I could be called a little idealist on that, but I think that we underestimate ourselves, and if we immediately admit defeat, we might as well roll over and give our rights away right now, because to tell our kids they have no future, because that's where it's going to end up if we don't actually do a little offense here soon. That's my perception on it. And given the acceleration of things that we see, I would say that it's just speeding up with every passing year. I don't know what their end game is or when it's going to happen, but
you're going to be so proud of your country if I get in. You're going to be so proud of your president, and I don't care about that. But you are going to be so proud of your country, because we're going to turn it around and we're going to start winning again. We're going to win so much. We're going to win at every level. We're going to win economically. We're going to win with the economy. We're going to win with military. We're going to win with healthcare and for our veterans. We're going to win with every single facet. We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore.
Too much winning.
Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more. We're going to win so much. I love you.
Oh,
We're just going to win.
we have to keep
We're
winning.
going to win so bigly.
Absolutely, man. And hey, the idea of winning reality, and winning reality is an idea. I'm just the person behind it, but is that I realized a long time ago that in a little way, every day is a fight for reality. And I actually wrote a song about it. And I realized that every day people are trying to win their own reality, whether it's just in, deciding where the picture goes on the wall, or, what car to buy, or like who's gonna be the one, right? Every day people are trying to win their reality. So together we're trying to win all of our realities together.
It's a transsexual trying to find out which side of the no, I'm just kidding. Am I pansexual today or am I asexual today? I'm not sure. We gotta find this out. Gotta find out my reality, bro.
What's the thing? Hey, I posted a link in the private chat. It's a Brandon Tatum's video from the day. It's got the woman that he shows the video of. She lists every single.
I did watch this earlier
a
couple times.
That was amazing.
Yeah, it's very interesting and very amazing. We'll totally pull that up here. We'll watch that because it's Brandon.
Yeah,
Tatum.
if anybody hasn't seen this yet, and tell you what, man, Brandon Tatum is a role model for his community. And when I talk about healing division, one of the points I like to talk about is how we're gonna hopefully cure racism. Let's take a listen.
Imagine if President Trump would have sent the FBI to raid Barack Obama's personal residence. Just picture that for a moment. They would have called him a dictator. Oh, wait, they called him that anyway. Could someone remind me of literally anything Trump did to be considered a dictator?
Who is this woman? This video is brought to you by The Opposite Tatum Store. The Opposite Tatum Store. Get the merch link in the description section, 50% off. And we have a bunch of new items, especially these mugs. People are buying these mugs like they're going out of style. This is solid, baby. Solid mugs, great merch, 3 to 5 day shipping.
Glad it's solid. I didn't want it to be squishy.
1 day overnight shipping. We'll try to get it to you soon.
That wouldn't be good.
In Arizona, you already get 1 night shipping on certain items. It could be even up to 2 day shipping for the regular standard price. Like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to get notifications anytime I go live, make a video. Y'all already know what to do. Let's get into this. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have been waiting for somebody to meticulously walk through Trump's accomplishments, so all your liberal friends can shut the front door and realize, where are your arguments? What are you really arguing with when it comes to Donald Trump? This woman, who is this woman? If somebody know, put it in the description section. Give me a 1 if you think she's off the chain after you listen. If you think she's dumb, put a 2. I guarantee you most of y'all gonna put a 1. She obliterates the liberal agenda and the mentality and the talking points. I have never seen anybody methodically explain Trump's accomplishments to the T in 1 minute and 38 seconds. Don't listen to me. Y'all don't listen to me. Listen to what this woman said.
Okay, real quick before he actually goes on further. So I've noticed there's a couple of new people that actually had followed me within the last week or whatever because of I'm running into the Michael Malloy show, and who's a very avid Trump fan. It's very interesting how many fans he actually has that are on the other side of the aisle. Just to let you all know, we're very open to anybody's talk and their expressions or whatever when it comes down to it. We don't sit there and tell you you can't have your own opinion, just so you understand that while you're here, don't feel so inclined that you have to go run away because of us talking of Trump and actually enjoying the man for what he was. Just saying.
Said, wrote a film.
I can't take credit for this, but someone on Telegram shared this rant, and it's brilliant. Imagine if President Trump would have sent the FBI to raid Barack Obama's personal residence. Just picture that for a moment. They would have called him a dictator. Oh, wait, they called him that anyway. Could someone remind me of literally anything Trump did to be considered a dictator? Was it lowering taxes, cutting regulations, ending wars, bringing troops home, lowering funding to NATO, the UN, the WHO, opportunity zone programs for impoverished neighborhoods, giving low-level nonviolent inmates a second chance, fixing mandatory minimums, launching a worldwide effort to stop persecution of gays, deporting MS-13, protecting our borders, crusading against human and child trafficking, bringing back manufacturing facilities, evening out our suspiciously lopsided trade tariffs, getting our soldiers' remains back from North Korea, getting terminal patients the right to try, record highs in our stock market, getting big pharma to match low prices abroad, reaching energy independence, brokering peace deals all over the Middle East, record low unemployment, keeping gas and inflation major.
She
All
still
those
got
Trump
38
did.
seconds of stuff to talk about. She ain't even halfway through it yet. Listen, ladies and gentlemen.
Down, donating his salary to different organizations like the ones fighting opioid addiction every quarter, and doing this for free, telling the American public how much he loved them over and over. I want to know. I want you to show your anti-Trump friends this and ask them what on earth Trump did to be considered a dictator. It's criminal how underreported his deeds were, but what's even more criminal is how underreported this administration's tyranny has been. And now you can add the rating of President Trump's personal home to this long list. This is not okay.
I don't know.
Because I see somebody ask, who is she? Her @ is Defender of the Republic. TikTok. That's what he's watching. Who she really is, I have no clue. All I know is she's very fluent and she knows exactly what the man did.
So I quit the video. Do I quit the video now? Or what? I don't know what else to say. Look at the range of accomplishments that they won't even describe to the public. Can somebody explain to me why they're so afraid? Oh, I know why they're afraid. Because they'll never win another election if people were Donald Trump. You don't have to like his tweets.
That's not
You don't
true.
have to like the two
Democrats
in the wind.
always
You don't have to
win.
like his.
They always win. Even when they lose, they always win. That's how this works, according to the people that control YouTube. That's how this works. Sorry. All this thing of like voting and whatever, like, you know, just
bettering
it's
America.
all for the Democrats.
Explain to me what the real problem is. Are you jealous of him? Are you envious? Are you mad because he got a position you don't have? Somebody explain this to me. You rather have a failing guy that seems like he's circling the drain, early signs of dementia. You rather have him because somebody tweet things that you think are over the top, things that you say anyway. You just wouldn't tweet it because you ain't got enough sack. Can I say that? Can I say that on the air? Because you don't have enough on this to say what Donald Trump says. These are the things that people say, but then they mad at him for saying the same thing openly. Because he's more candid than you are, because he's bolder than you are, because he's willing to have the real conversation that you have with your friends, but you're too afraid to say it in front of other people because you're afraid what people are going to think about you and you don't want to get canceled. But if you ask me, Donald Trump didn't care about getting canceled. He did what was right by the American people. It's very simple. And shout out to this young lady. Please, somebody, I want to follow her. Thank you for telling the truth in under 2 minutes. I just love it when people stand up for Donald Trump because he did an incredible job. We need Trump back. Bring Trump back. Bring Trump back. Bring Trump back. I almost want to do a rally cry on this video. We really need a president that's going to do what's right by our country. They have been playing politics for so long that it has become normal for us to see them play the game. They say they're going to move the embassy to Jerusalem. They say they're going to do lower taxes. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. They lie. They lie. They project. They leave some little crumbs for the next administration. Then the Republicans leave some crumbs for the Democrats, and then the Democrats leave crumbs, and everything is always undone, unfinished. So you have to vote for them again and again and again and again and again so they can do what they promised they were going to do 100 years ago, 200 years ago. That's the politics that they play. Donald Trump gets in the office and go, boop, 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 boop. He accomplished all of it. And if they weren't obstructing him and trying to investigate him with false investigations and all of the above, he would have done more than any president in United States history and would have done it clean. But they gotta hate on him. Republicans and Democrats alike. That's why we voting these clowns out. Hit a one if you thought she killed it. If you didn't think she killed it, put a 2, and I want to see where you at. If you thought that she articulated very clearly, put a 1 in the comment section. I want to hear from you. Like and subscribe to the channel. I noticed that a bunch of people aren't subscribed. If you're watching a video, it's just nothing to just hit subscribe. Just hit subscribe. Even if you want to unsubscribe later, just hit subscribe today. I'm almost at 2 million subscribers. I'll talk to you guys on the next video because I got more stuff to do. I'm out.
That's great.
That's Officer Tatum. Everybody should check out the Officer Tatum. He's just based as can be. He's so fun to listen to.
Yeah.
Look at all the ones that are popping up in our chat. That's the fun one. Everybody was actually paying attention to the point where they actually understood. Yes, she's very articulate and very to the point, and did list off not all, but a lot of the accomplishments of Donald J. Trump.
Absolutely. That was amazing. So, I think that it's a good segue to talk about the state of, the paradigm and the political paradigm and what maybe a new way to look at it, maybe a way that we should all start looking at it, where we can kind of unify behind one concept. That is, I think everybody here could agree that corruption in the system is what's causing a lot of the pain that we're suffering from these days. I mean, I have been for a long time. The corruption in the system, we've never had a chance to really address that. And I talk about how we ideological debates these days, like, you get a socialist on, you get a capitalist on, and they're talking and they're debating and they're arguing, or they're just one Democrat, Republican, whatever, right? It's pointless because ideological conversations always come from a situation that's perfect, right? So when a socialist or a Marxist is telling you about how great utopia is going to be, and these are the things, and this is the way it is, they're talking about it from a very uncorrupt version of, uncorrupt version of it, right? They're talking about that. And then so is the other guy, the libertarian, or the capitalist, or whoever, right? Whatever it is. So debating something that is put in such a way that it's not realistic doesn't accomplish anything. I think the better debate is which ideology can fix the loopholes in its own system well enough to keep corruption out. And that's the one I'd rather have, the one that's actually thinking that way. Because when you corrupt a system, no matter how great it is by design, just like a network or anything else, no matter how great it is, when it becomes corrupted, it's useless and it's actually detrimental. So I think that the way that we can look at this is if we all agree that corruption in the system is something that we don't want, and that what we want is a fair system that is operating in a honest, above the board way, so we really truly can function the way it's supposed to. And the system we have now is full of corruption, the establishment, then we would be the anti-establishment. And that word's been around for a long time, but I don't think people understand the depth of what it can mean. And these days, it maybe become cliche somewhat, like the establishment, like that word can become cliche to the point where people don't really quite think about what it means immediately. And getting on the same page, kind of like just by identifying the power system, the establishment in our country is corrupted, right? And is the source of our woes. And that we recognize that and we say, we do not want a corrupt system. That's enough to put us all on the same team, because the truth of the matter is the establishment versus the rest of us, right? They have their people, and then they have the people that are buying into and enabling it. And then they have the people like us that are resisting it, right? So the way to kind of put the left and right paradigm to rest, because we're not in a fair system where those two things can actually function correctly, is to take a step back and reunite under the idea that we need to just flat out overhaul and restore the system. And then we get back to addressing the things we need to address from a fair perspective, where everybody gets a say, and can be heard. And we're not trying to use the tools that we should have to share in this world to try to manipulate and manufacture consent from one another. How we get there at that point, I don't know. But with a fair system, an uncorrupted system, we have a chance, and that's the chance we deserve. And then we can have the debates about, what's the best way to do these things. I think that we'll have more reasonable conversations at that point. We'll start hearing each other. We'll start considering the concerns of the other person, and how we can reach a compromise, because that's what we are about as Americans. That's what we're supposed to be doing. And right now, the people that are speaking on the fringes of the left and the right, at least that's the way it's been throughout our lifetimes, have been taking the most extreme uncooperative positions and not showing any concern for the other side and what they are experiencing, or what they need to be okay with things to be that way, and it's something that's kind of been lost along the way, probably by design, I would say. And that's kind of like what we could do with the idea that, left and right, okay, but together we are the anti-establishment, because we do not tolerate corruption on any level. We don't want that in our lives. We don't want that in our country, and we want it what was intended for this country. So with that approach, we can kind of maybe put some things to rest for a while, and then start fresh on once we know that we have a secure future. What do you guys think?
AmericaShirts?
I like it.
I was going to say you put him to sleep, but I like it. I like it a lot. AmericaShirts? Are you awake?
I think so.
I'm waiting for AmericaShirts to give me a good rant. He hasn't done that yet tonight. He doesn't want to either. He must be just as tired as I am. So I guess we'll just kind of... We all stayed up way too late last night. There was a party that we all attended, and
Oh my God.
we stayed up way too late.
Being a giant shit show.
Well,
Here, we were talking about like cultural stuff earlier. Look at this.
Cultural stuff. This is oh my god. The heck is this? It's a
Wiz.
horrible,
Oh, yeah.
wonderful Wizard of Oz, and they made her.
That's old. That's been around for a long time, unless they're redoing it.
It's called The Wiz.
You guys don't remember that song? Ease on down the road. Ease on down the road. Yeah, that's great. The Wiz, man.
Toy Box Brand says, "Zoom in. You might have to share that screen again." The Wiz.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Toy Box Brand, how do you feel about The Wiz?
Nobody beats the Wiz, right?
Oh my God.
So I've been going on, and there seems to be a strange conversation going on. Somebody got blocked from another channel earlier today for somebody else that did not like them in chat. I feel bad that person got blocked from it. And please, mods, do not block yourself. Come to me and let me know of those issues. You all know where you can actually let me know of those issues, and we can clear those up as needed. Please don't do it yourself. You can block comments, but blocking people for, your own personal thoughts or their own personal thoughts is not something I actually prefer around here. Just saying.
You don't?
No.
You believe
I
in
will
like
take
the
care of it.
freedom of speech thing where you get to like share your opinion or your perspective
Yes,
without
exactly.
being like arrested and like drawn out in front of a courtroom and then like hauled off to jail or to a camp someplace. Wow, you're really radical. I mean, really a radical individual.
Meme Copium says, "Can I get a personal thought?" Really? If you really need one, I'm sure you can find one.
I mean, I know it's going to take a lot of money to pay all those soldiers and like create all those camps and stuff, but I mean, still, like, you're very radical just to suggest, how about we not do all of that crazy horse shit and just let people speak? Like, it's just you're just insane, Koolfrogg. You're just crazy.
Okay. Oh no, Toy Box Brain, watch out where you're going with all those thoughts. Just saying, be careful. We all have constitutional rights. Yeah, that's what they tell us anyway. That we all have constitutional rights. We all have the rights to, bear arms.
You have the right to remain silent perpetually and forever. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's the prime target, right? Get rid of the Constitution, subvert it. That's the one thing too. It's like, when that's gone, everything's gone. So, if you're concerned about the social issue, the best way to actually have a chance at it being the way you want it is to make sure the country doesn't collapse. And the only way to do that is really get in front of it. It's kind of my thing here is that all these things are like, we could change this in a lifetime, or we could lose it in a lifetime. So it's just really up to us how we can use the time we have to make something happen, and how motivated people can get. Hopefully it really doesn't take as many people as everybody, right? But a lot of motivated people could do good stuff, get us there.
Right. And I think we already have this. I mean, you look across the board at all these MAGA candidates. I mean, I keep saying this. I mean, we are winning everywhere, like full steam ahead. Every MAGA candidate, even in blue states, we're just destroying everybody else.
Well, let me ask you a question then. Do you think we could use this momentum that we have? And hey, man, I hope we take it all. But when we are in that position, do you think that we can maintain it and move forward in that position without addressing the establishment's power in any way, shape, or form?
Oh, I think we are. I think it's all of it. I think people are waking up to a large majority of this. I mean, for example, I was listening to Charlie Kirk earlier today talk about how they had a rally in Arizona. They brought in Ron DeSantis and a bunch of other people. He said that the majority of the crowd was former Democrats that voted Democrat just 2 years ago. And they were like a
awesome.
ton of young people. I mean, like, everybody is waking the hell up to all of this shit. Like, it's massive. It's huge. I mean, you look over in freaking, like, in Europe, and the entire crowd of Dutch people are like, F Bill Gates, screw Klaus Schwab. like everybody knows.
The thing, and that's awesome news. And I think we've been seeing an accelerated growth over, of it over the past 10, 15 years, right? Especially since the internet kind of has been evolving, and social media and our ability to communicate, like having a live stream like this is become more prevalent and better technology. But I kind of wonder, like, every time we make progress, the establishment answers back. Like, even the last election, right, and all the things that went on there, and I'm in a hotbed of it, man. I'm in that one of those counties that had major issues, shall we say. And I know the groups around here, right?
The Democrat got into office. There's no issues. I don't see any issues. Do you see issues? I don't see any issues.
The guy that took my
I
ballot.
don't see the red dot on my chest right now. I don't see any issues at all.
Right.
I don't see that.
We the guy that took my ballot at my local polling place had a Black Lives Matter. Was it a hat or a pen or something on?
Oh,
right? And
only the most trusted people.
My ballot, when I inserted it, I was like, oh, okay. I inserted it. It didn't like go through the first time. So I had to like turn it upside down and put it in. I was like, okay, great. That happened to the person in front of me
that's
too.
clearly your fault because
Right.
you probably didn't have the right thing there.
I thought
marked
it was odd. It
for the
definitely
right
stood
party.
out.
It was probably something along those lines. But again, every time there's an election, if the Democrats don't win, it's bad. And if the Republican people or MAGA people do, then it's totally fine. It's totally fine.
So they pulled that one out, right? So they played that card, right? So here's how I look at it, right? I go back to the Ron Paul days. So we go back there. That's when I really got politically active. And our first run through, we didn't even kind of get in the next round, right? So we were out early and they stopped putting them on TV. So we'd lost a lot of momentum there. So the second time around, the movement was a lot bigger. We started early. I actually started a year before he even announced he was running. And I started getting out there and kind of attacking the GOP in a sense that I was calling out the neocons. I was making memes, I would call it meme, but basically just an image with a list of things that they've done and why they are a neocon. So I started trying to draw the difference between a neocon, right, and the guy who was coming to throw him out. I wanted to, because I found that people wouldn't even give Ron Paul a chance because he was on the Republican ticket. Didn't matter. They didn't want to hear it. They closed right off. I was like, wow, I can't even. But these are people that probably would really like an honest president that tells the truth and is kind and has good ideas about giving them their freedom back and making their life, less taxes to no taxes on their life. I mean, he had ideas, right? The philosophy of liberty that he spoke about was the most powerful thing that he did. And the way that he taught us through his own experiences and his own energy, how the system worked and what we could see about it. So just by trying to get in there, we saw reactions. So, as he got instant closer, they just forgot about him. They took him off. So we just knew that we weren't loud enough, right? We have to make it so they can't ignore him. So the next time around, I got out there early, started trying to draw the line, the difference between the two, so that they could, that my friends could see, at least, the people on my reach at that point, which grew a lot in that time, they could see the difference. And then, so they could actually try to make have a different point of view about it. The establishment does work together, that we have a false left paradigm. This is ridiculous. Why we fight about Bush and Clinton and Obama, they're on vacation together. Looking at each other's naughty parts. It's just like, that those are enemies if they're doing that. They're hanging out with George Bush says Hillary's like my sister. That's not a rivalry. That's a love affair. A weird one.
But people are waking up at mass. I mean, I was watching, like Steve Bannon has Alex Jones on now. It seems like almost regularly over the past month or so. There's freaking Charlie Kirk had Alex Jones on his Salem radio show for his, Conservative Inc. Salem radio. Freaking Alex Jones is on there for an hour on his show. It's like, holy shit. I mean, everybody is waking up. Everybody's seeing this for what the hell this is. Everybody's, it's massive. It's huge. The MAGA movement is all of this. We are pushing back against all this stuff. And we have amassed this big amount of people that are just tired of all this horse crap. And in the process of that, over a little bit of time that they've been in the movement, they begin to wake up more and more. And they're like, oh yeah, I like this liberty thing. I like this sort of whatever. And they just keep getting they keep going in that direction. I mean, this is big. I mean,
yeah, I think so. I think that it's a continuation of what's been going on. So like I was saying, was the second time around, we learned about the delegate situation. We got really far in and we should have really won that time. But for the people that were on the ground dealing with the delegates, we were getting really screwed about the infrastructure and the neocon control of the GOP, right? So they were making rules on the fly. They were coming up with exceptions. They were locking our delegates out of conventions They weren't playing by the rules at all. So the issue
now
here
now
was
the
at the
Republican
end.
Party is completely controlled by MAGA at so many places
Right,
at
right,
the state level.
right.
Like they're freaking kicking Liz Cheney out. They're like, "Oh,
Right.
you can't speak anymore. You're done." It's like,
Right.
but
And
I'm
this-
a Republican. Like, too bad.
This is us paving the way to this, right? So what we figured out was at that point is what it took to get past that barrier, right? So honestly, the strategy for the next go around would have to be to, maybe it was Rand Paul, maybe it was somebody else, but then Trump came out of the blue and said, "This is what you need," and he rammed right through it, man. Like he showed us everything that we needed to get past this firewall here that we have yet to be able to penetrate, and it was what was missing from Ron Paul. So I label the Ron Paul revolution as like Ron Paul is the philosopher king. He is a philosopher king of liberty. And then we saw the antithesis of that the following election on the other side, and Bernie Sanders, right? Where, that side believed that Bernie Sanders came out of the blue and this is so amazing and it's never been done before. And they would say that. It's like, dude, you guys just copied what we just did on the other side. The money bombs we used to do and all the things we used to do to raise money for Ron Paul, grassroots. But I told him, I was like, dude, when time comes, because I had learned the delegate strategy on both sides. I understood how it worked. So I won a lot of people over. And by the way, I did convince a lot of Democrats to vote for Ron Paul in the primary. So that work that I did early on and giving people that new perspective on the GOP did do some work. But of course, when it came to Obama, it was all over. Right? I didn't vote in that election anyways. Well, I did. I voted third party thinking that would be, little hurt at that time, but it's like I just want third party just to say, well, hopefully maybe something come of it. That's whatever, right? But that did help. It did help. But then Trump showed us exactly how to bust through there. Bernie Sanders, though, came on the scene. A lot of people, like even Ron Paul people, were kind of like into that, right? And they're like, "Why aren't you into it?" I'm like, "You kidding me? As a socialist, did you guys learn anything?" But but I said to some people that I thought were pretty smart, and I could see that they were kind of, they could easily be going the other direction. That, hey, look, at the end of this, Bernie's going to take a knee exactly when he's told to. He's going to hand all of his voters over to the establishment. Okay. And he's not going to be able to win. They're like, no way. Things are flying high. Look at the numbers. Look how many people are into this. Look at this. It's amazing. And they're all like love fest. It was just, it was so funny. But I said, no, you're going to lose because they have the super delegates. They're not going to give them to you. It doesn't matter what. There's not going to be any lawsuits. There's not going to be any protests. There's not going to be anything but Bernie taking a knee and kissing the boot. Sure enough, that happens, right? And all of a sudden, I'm getting phone calls and text messages and emails. Dude, how'd you know that? Right? So I started explaining it to him. It's like, this is how I live. We just did it for 2 election cycles in a row. So when Trump came in and ran through it like a champ, that was amazing, man. That was amazing. That was like a Super Bowl season for us. And knowing that he was going to go in there, he's anti-establishment. It doesn't matter. The anti-establishment doesn't need a leader. It shouldn't have a leader. It should be a product of an immersion, if you will. A spontaneous organization of people with the right idea, heading in the same idea, shared idea, the right idea. Heading in the same direction. And at the bottom of, at the end of the day, we all don't want a corrupt system. That's really what we're asking for. And a fair system as well. That comes with it, right? We got a lot of work to do on that, but at the same time, we've learned how to bust through the door. And now that we're in, we see what they're going to do. And I always wondered, a couple of predictions I made if Ron Paul ever got in. One was that the neocons would run back to the left if we won. I said that was the idea. We push through, he wins, and we run the neocons off. And now we have the illusion of choice is now shattered. Now it's a real choice. It's no longer the illusion of choice, the false left-right paradigm. So at least we have a foothold in. Now what are they going to do? See, we don't know what they're going to do till we get there. So that makes me wonder about things because they always seem to have a plan to counter what's about to happen. Now, what we learned from Trump going in, and honestly, we got to be fair about this. Trump left the door open for some of this stuff to happen. I don't think that he'll make the same mistakes twice. And what I'm hearing from this campaign is what I want to hear. And that is adjustments to problems that they had in the past, maturity, solutions in play. He's talking about all the right stuff from what I hear. I mean, I could have written that for him. I was just like, wow, you just hit every point that I was going to be like, you better do this, you better do that. Because I said when he got elected, Trump has to do 3 things to get reelected. All right. He has to fix the voting system so it can't be rigged. Right. He has to deal with the mainstream media so he can't be, his image can't be subverted. Right. And he has to
real
deal
quick.
with
We're not actually saying that anything about elections at all. Joe Biden is the most legitimate president ever with the most votes. Period.
Ever.
Hello, Jimmy, YouTube.
Yes, that's all true. So, those are the three things he didn't really take care of. So we got censorship, we got the other thing, and we got the other thing, right? So hopefully that's going to be addressed, and as well as his administrative choices. You can't trust the psychopaths, man. You can't trust the ones that don't that can lie to your face, the ones that wear a mask. You can't trust them. You have to bring in your own team, and you have to clean house. That's what we want this time. Drain the swamp means drain the swamp. So if we do that, we're really making strides. But I'm wondering what the recourse is going to be.
You're fired. Get out.
Yes.
You're fired.
I want them all on TV too, like one after the other, just 24-hour stream of Trump firing people.
Oh, did you not hear what we were talking about yesterday? That was something that Jack said we were talking with Tim Pool about too. Was that and this is something that I totally agree with. That should be on TV. It should be like a reality show thing, and like Trump should have his big thing back. And it's just like every freaking one of these agents or like all these different people, just like a live stream for like God knows how long on the internet or TV or whatever. And it's just like he just keeps bringing in the paper. And he's just like reads off the name. You're fired. Boom. Like stamps and red, like giant red letters. Like you're fired. Like,
that would be so great.
You're fired. To send it off. It's like, oh my god. That would be
I'd imagine. So if that happens, right? So let's just speculate a little bit and say that happens, right? So on the social level. I'm also like it's still on the floor. Like what could be the counter to this level of incursion if we actually get this far into it? What could be the counter, and what could be the counter that potentially that Trump and them would do to any counter at that point? The justice system's corrupt. We got activist groups being funded by dark money that are all over the place, ready to activate at a moment's notice, and we have a population of privileged, protected classes, and we have a lot of systems that are corrupted with indoctrination and subversion and social engineering and so on. We got a lot of stuff we would want to fix socially on this level, not the government level. Do we think that government's going to do all this for us, or do we think that there's something that we need to be doing too in order to take this opportunity and utilize it to its fullest? So like people are running for school board. They're running for all these different offices. I mean, it's not just, like the Congress or the federal government. I mean, this is everywhere across the board. We're talking state legislatures. We're talking all of it. We're talking everything. We're sweeping the floor with these people. I mean, people like moms and dads are just being like, okay, I'm going to run for school board and to hell with all of you. And it's like, right.
Like, no, okay, I'm running for city council. Okay, cool. And like, everybody's just doing it.
No, I agree. That's definitely part of the solution is to get parents on the school boards and parents in charge of making decisions for children because they have skin in the game. And, it's a big thing is I realized from looking into this stuff that a lot of people that have been making decisions for parents have been people that had no plans to have kids and that aren't involved in having kids. And there's a lot of stuff in there we can drill down on to say, hey, why did this certain type of person have such a keen interest in children, but yet they don't want any of their own, right? And so there's a lot of infiltration in that way. And I think that that's part of the solution. And I hope that's going on, and I hope that it's overwhelmingly going on. I know the Department of Education's on the, hopefully on the cutting floor if Trump gets in. We've been hoping for that for a long time. Ron Paul would have done that. Yeah. But the other thing is I was like, we have 2 big problems in schools today. and I'm going to be very careful about saying this, but we have like, AS, like active somebody, right? Those problems that are happening. And we have the grooming and the indoctrination, the groom doctrinators that are in the schools, using the community, their
pet
community
groomers, those things that are out there that take care of pets. Those things
Right.
really,
Yeah.
cutting dogs' hair,
Pet-o groomers.
really taking away an
a new
animal's
device.
hair is actually not the best thing for the animal. When you actually remove the hair from the animal, it's actually doing it a disservice because the hair is there to actually cool the animal down. Taking it away actually it takes away that effect. Just saying.
There you go. Yep. Every time. So call today. Those problems are there, and one solution that I think would be immediately effective. And I know that I've had several people poke holes in this, and I would say that, I understand some of the initial reactions to it, but hear me out on this. Would be to have, and this again is parents taking responsibility for their kids, being involved, parental and sustaining and preserving parental rights, because don't think that those aren't on the chopping blocks right now. They are. So we have to really defend those, because it is our duty to raise our children. It is our duty, and nobody can take that away from us. They should be inalienable rights. Parental rights should be inalienable, in my opinion, because you are in charge of an innocent life, and that is a huge responsibility, and it's an honor. So my solution to both of these problems that are immediate and threats to children that go to these schools are to put a higher level of surveillance in the schools. So before anybody worries about hackers, I'm gonna just put that out there that CCTV, like closed circuit television, and partnership with a professional private monitoring system. Now this partnership is between the parents and the parents of that school district and that company, whatever they want to contract with, whoever their vendor is. And the reason is why, to keep it secure within that parental group that is on top of this. And the idea is that we put cameras and microphones in every classroom and every space in the school that we can, where a groomer or doctrinator or whatever can get unsupervised time with the child, because this is what those people need to be successful. Pedophiles especially. This is like, for them, that
Watch
is
the words you're using there, bro.
Oh, okay.
Just
Sorry.
saying. Some of
It's
those
in the
words
dictionary, man.
Can't actually be said on. I know, but
You can't
Yeah.
use the
It's just-
dictionary. Don't you know this?
Right?
the dictionary.
What the hell is wrong with you?
The
Are you not
dictionary is
living-
very, very racist.
Okay.
Exactly. It's the most
We'll
horrible
call
thing
them
ever.
the
No.
we'll call them
Zer.
the peas. We'll call them the peas.
Zinure.
The Ditos. Anyways, yeah, but that's what they need to gain access. They need that and a
Latinx.
mask of benevolence, right? So they're wearing a mask of benevolence, right? We're doing this to help make kids safe, and this is gonna cure this problem that didn't exist of these kids that shouldn't have these types of thoughts at this age from being discriminated against somewhere.
Barton Bella says, "Call them Disney's."
Disney's okay. Yeah. So, but if we take that away from them, we remove the incentive for them to be there. You ought to understand that these Disneys out there, they don't want to be where they can't be effective.
I love this term. Perfect.
PLK Sheepdog says, "Call them Epstein's." I mean,
Oh,
Nice.
not
nice,
very
guys.
subtle, are we?
John Delaney says the Webster Dictionary from 30 years ago was straight.
Exactly. We need a
Yep.
more transsexual dictionary with a little bit of pansexual in the index. That's what we need.
Yep.
Yes.
Definitely. This leads into a lot of different kinds of conversations because it's such a complex topic. But as far as the immediate solutions go to children's
See,
safety in
Susan, we're
schools,
woke. Give us more views.
There you go. Nice, Brian. Most definitely. And that's where they shall go. That's what
They do. It's
No,
more
that's where they
appropriate for
should
them
go.
to be on walls because then you
But
can see.
we have to
them
we have to
better,
we have to
See
we have to
them
corral them
best.
first. We're gonna
Right,
corral them
exactly.
first. Exactly. We're gonna corral them, and this is one of the ways that we can do this. So this is why beyond this, the safety of this, we can also corral them in a way that we can start to really identify who these people are and kind of separate them out. The way is that the parents would be able to have live stream access to their kids' classrooms through the monitoring company, right? And so that they can check in, and we'll have somebody. It'll be recorded. We'll be able to, there's ways that parents can work this out on their own. I'm just giving the general idea of why this solution would work, and then it's up to the parents themselves and the community to implement it the way that they want to do and choose the best model. This is true free market right here, by the way. This is the way it's supposed to be done as far as the good ideas getting better as they go through groups of people, everybody cooperating for the best interest of what's going on. That's the way it's supposed to function in this country, right? That's been taken away by bureaucracies and other things, other mechanisms to take that responsibility away from us, take our communication away in these situations, take the great feeling of being part of a positive group, doing something that is right together, and seeing results from it. And so these parents will be able to monitor their children, and we'll also have a company that does that works with them. And they will be able to lock down the schools when they see trouble, and they will be able to identify these teachers that are just going nuts in their classroom, talking about all their things and getting the kids interested in transitioning and changing their identities and ruining them. The ones they can get through to, the ones the parents allow them to get through to. So that to me seems sensible, and immediate, and something
Real
people
quick,
can do themselves.
good night, Ash. Have a good night. ID Christ houses, call them pedoticians.
I love it.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty good.
It's perfect. I was going to tell you to bring that chat up. It's perfection right there. Grammatical genius at its finest. ID crisis. Thank you.
Susie says, let kids be kids. Yes, let them be kids. Don't allow
Exactly.
the teachers in the classroom to sit there and do what they're doing and teach them that it's okay to actually do something that it's not okay to do.
Right.
It's unnecessary for them to do it until they're old enough. And I get some of them, really feel the way they do, as long as they actually go through and actually, see a psychologist first and, find out what's exactly wrong with them. And where things are, that's where you should start, really.
Exactly. And this takes away the incentive for them to be in schools. They don't want to be under the spotlight. They don't want to end up being the one that's ends up getting arrested or is their faces broadcast everywhere. Right? They're going to be like, this sucks. Let's leave, and they're going to go find something else to do. And on the other side of that is that the community that's being the sword and shield for them right now is, on the verge of imploding itself. Like, there's a lot of internal problems going on there. And it has to do with the fact that they've added these additional, what I call fetish letters. Okay. So there's lifestyle letters that came first, right? These are genuine lifestyles. And what's this? But it doesn't help when it takes two working parents to pay bills. There's no cost involved.
The at-home dad that I am, and my wife actually does the work, pays the bills, and everything's just fine, for now anyway. I really don't see the comment being, true all the way. It really, seriously. I mean,
it might just be a little out of context, but I think I understand that, people have struggles and they have to address this first. And I get it. But that's why we have a community of parents where
both parents working at a McDonald's, maybe not.
But the parents that want to do something will be able to carry the load, right? They'll have the time. And then as it evolves, people will troubleshoot any kind of issues that come up, and they'll solve them. If we do it better than the government does, especially when it involves something we're passionate about. Look what we're doing right here. We're all passionate about it. We found a way to get here. And so people find a way. And when you have a team of parents that are people or of any kind that are working towards a goal, in a positive direction for a positive thing, good things happen. Things get done. You know, so the additional letters is when. Let me tell you a story real quick, if I may. I moved to Atlanta in the late 90s. And I lived for a while in Midtown Atlanta. If anybody's not familiar with Midtown Atlanta, it's right where Piedmont Park is. It's where all the cool stuff happened. I don't know how much goes on there now because I moved away, but all the cool stuff went down there. Okay. And that's back when Pride Fest was just a weekend and it was just a parade, you know, and it was just a big party. And I lived in Midtown, which is the capital, I guess the East Coast capital of gay capital or whatever, you know, it's like, that's the area where they all live in, that and they're in Decatur. But you know, neighbors, it was like a bunch of college guys living in a house right next to the park where all the cool stuff was going on, right? Year round concerts, all kinds of cool stuff, walking distance to all kinds of things. And we lived right next door to gays, and they were super nice, and we got along with them fine. And they didn't want anything but just to be left to their life, and just they had no ambitions to take over, you know, schools and thought, and they weren't bitching and whining about being discriminated against. They weren't, you know. Right down the street, there was a bar that had a rainbow flag out in front of it. That used to mean, hey, if you're gay, come on in. There's gay people here. You know, have a good time. This is where you come to hook up, whatever it is, you know, doesn't matter. And anybody could go in there. And it wasn't a big deal. One of the biggest late night clubs in Atlanta is shut down now, but stayed open all night long. It was the Party Bar. You go there late, you stay there all night if you wanted to. You know, it was a gay bar, but straight people went there all the time. It was like totally cool. And it wasn't like there was any agenda going on. And as a musician, I've played with plenty of gay people along the way, mainly lesbians, but you know, they're great musicians and they're cool to hang out with, and they never talk much about any kind of thing like they want to get to kids and do all this stuff, right? Well, you know, it's the people in this organization that has taken over since the time of this, hey, we just want to be treated like people, right? It's all that stuff that changed it. And now the flag doesn't mean, hey, hit me up. I'm one, you know, I like people like you. You know, it's not that anymore. You know, it's now has this big meaning and it's flying around the world and it means all these other things. That didn't happen until the fetish letters came in. You know, when they started trying to make what would be really considered a kink or a fetish into a lifestyle. The truth of the matter is, there's really only 3 legit lifestyles, you know, out there as far as the way they're contextualize it, the way we contextualize it in the world today, right? Well, we have the heterosexual lifestyle, the straight lifestyle. We know that, man and woman, you know, potentially a family and children, right? And you have the gay lifestyle, so it's 2 of the same together, right? And then I would include, like, you know, a committed T lifestyle, trans lifestyle. So, you know, because that has a whole nother realm of that they experience in that lifestyle, right? So you know, people can disagree with that. I'm cool with it because they're committed. They actually, you know, went through with the change, and they meant it, right? They weren't trying to just pose. So what the problem is I see in the community today is that there's a bunch of transposers. There's a bunch of people using it as a sword and a shield. And what that does is that pulls down the legitimate people that are in it. There's like those kind people that live next door to us in Midtown, right? It pulls them down. It pulls down the lesbian band just trying to be a cool band in town. You know, it eventually pulls everybody down because they're forced into backing up these people, believing that they are part of them, right? And it's always the most radical edges of these groups that speak for everybody. So the average person doesn't even really want that, but they have to go along with it. That's why I'm calling for a brand split. I think that what needs to happen to save that community, to keep the legitimate people legitimate, and to have allies to go after the predators that have infiltrated it, is a brand split where we need to separate the lifestyles from the fetishes. You know, anything that's just not falling into line with what we consider a lifestyle, without them changing the definition again, hopefully, you know, that anybody that lives with one of these lifestyles could have one of these other kinks or fetishes, but they're not identifying as that. These other people are identifying as these things now, and they're getting away with using the cover of the entire community, which, you know, is hurting part of the community. That's the implosion going on. You know, there's the transposers versus lesbians and women's rights. Okay, so as they want access to private areas where women are, there's pushback from the lesbian community, right? And and most of the ones that are legit aren't trying to bark about that. They just want to be left alone. And we've seen those videos out too.
Real quick, go along with the subject that you're actually speaking of. So then Frosted Sleet actually says, my nephew is an MIT grad and gay. He's disgusted with the pride parades and thinking that they can achieve anything because they're gay. He's very successful. There's a gentleman that's in my Discord who is successful. He is gay. He's open about it. And he is one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. And he feels the same exact way, that the way this world is going and the way they're pushing this narratives or whatever is just disgusting and very disturbing.
Yeah, it's hurting a lot of people.
I disagree with, probably for the first time ever winning reality, I probably disagree with 90% of that myself. 10% I do, but 95% of everything that's been said, I don't. And I have a whole stream of things that I've done on Twitter. I've posted some things on Twitter. And many people find my position on this very controversial. But I believe when you open Pandora's box and you say that sex can just be whatever the hell you want it to be, some sort of recreational activity, and I'm not necessarily saying from a legal perspective, I'm just saying from a cultural, moral, and societal perspective, that if you just simply open the door to, well, sex is just a recreational thing, it's just a fun thing anybody can do, and then, oh, well, now these two are, you know, well, they're the same gender or whatever, like, oh, well, you know, but it's just sex in a different way, and it's just this and it's just that. You have opened Pandora's box. Anything is going to come out of that. That is my very strong opinion about this. Very strong opinion about this. I do not like any of this being promoted or being called normal or good in society. It is not normal. It is not good. It is not healthy. It's not natural. And that is very controversial to a great many of people, but that is my unwavering view on this. And I don't wish to go too much further because I don't want there to be any particular, you know, like any like bickering or anything like that.
Oh, no worries.
I don't think that that's what the topic at hand
So
is.
then
But I'm just
go
I'm
ahead.
just vocally
America
saying,
Shirts,
I don't
do me a
agree with
favor and read the comment that's on the screen for me, like out loud, let everybody know what's being said. And we'll
My
say,
turn to
have a good
show
day.
up.
Good cake.
Shit.
What's that?
Thank you, Alan Chat. It says, my brother is gay and proud and very successful and struggles with today's prayer.
Yep. Today's approach is really kind of disturbing, to say the least. You know, one thing. It's one thing to feel the way you do. It's another to sit there and push it, and just trying to spin narratives to say, "Oh, this is the best way to do it." And we should teach all of our children that it's okay, that it's okay that they can do the other. So, I mean, I agree with you to a point where, yeah, it's not okay for the way, you know, for them to actually push it the way they are. It's not natural. It's very against the way things actually are. And yet, you know, I understand somebody actually wanting to feel the way they do, you know, because if that's the way they feel, that, you know, that's the way they feel. I'm not going to tell them they need to change the way they feel.
Right.
You know, to ease my.
And again, I'm not
this
here
change over
to
time
like
too,
lock
you know?
people in prison for whatever. I mean, like, I'm not. This is
Right.
this is
You're
a
totally allowed
societal,
to have your opinion, of course. You know?
social, moral
Definitely.
issue.
Exactly.
Yeah, I look at this from like a problem-solving kind of perspective on that. You know, our own personal opinions about the practice. You know, like a lot of the other opinions I've talked about tonight. we can put it aside until we kind of fix some problems and then come back to that. It's not going to change anything whether we feel about it one way or the other, but it's how do we feel about the problem itself? Now, the reason why I went down that road and I'm talking about the brand split and so on is because, like I said, we're going to corral them, right? So my thought on this is it's a win-win situation for everybody, right? We can help pull the people that are legitimate in the community away from the ones that aren't, and we can together identify who those are, and then we know who, now they're under the spotlight, now they're running for cover, now they're not wearing wigs anymore and pretending to be things that they're not. You see, that's the idea. We take away the incentive for them to be in schools. We take away the incentive for them to use that community as cover. And they're like a roach, right? They run under this. They run under this chair. We pull the chair up. They run under the table. We pull the table up. They run under the couch. We pull the couch up. And then we step on it because that's what they deserve. And that's what's going to come down to. They either get help or they get in the sea, like Nick Rekieta said, or get in the sea. It's in my video game documentary.
But I've also thought about.
Hold on, Trucker. Just let people live their lives and mind your own business. Exactly. Let people live their lives, mind your own business, and don't push your crap on my children.
Yep.
Leave them alone. You don't need to be teaching them that, it's okay that you should actually be able to do whatever you want, because they're very malleable and you can actually, hurt them in the long run when you convince them that they should actually think of something that they shouldn't even be thinking of. And all of a sudden, they're going to identify as something as they really aren't. Like there's these schools that are like putting litter boxes in classrooms because the children are identifying as cats.
Oh my
It's
God!
like, stop it!
Jesus.
Stop teaching these kids this. Teach them the reading, writing, and arithmetic, and stop pushing your ideology on my children.
And here's a suggestion, and perhaps school funds could be sent to this, or maybe city funds or whatever. But I think that maybe if we just set up a designated like guillotine area, like off to we don't want children to be looking at that, right? But I mean, like there needs to be like an area for like a guillotine. It doesn't need to be that huge, right? But you just need a nice little area there, for guillotine. You just like set it up all nice, and then you put you nail something to it that says for pet groomers.
Yes.
And grooming. Pet grooming. And you just
stop saying
post
the
it
word.
right there.
They would have tried when Trump's firing these guys like out of the government. Then when one of those guys you're talking about, their shirts happens to show up and say, "You get in the catapult." It's like you fire. Oh, you can go through that door. You get in the catapult.
Let's see how far.
Right?
That'd be fun.
Is that a new record? I believe we've set a new record.
And by the way, I'm joking only halfway. No, I'm just kidding. But
There you go. You jumped on me. There you go.
Well, at that point, they don't have cover.
Have a
They
good
don't
night,
have anybody
Susie.
to
Enjoy.
Good
Get yourself some good rest. Sleep well.
night, Susie. Thank you.
later. But I am just kidding about that, but
Yeah.
But if you could do it, it would be for a deterrent, right? Because nobody actually wants to use one, right? It's just for those people, and then it's like, oh, okay, well, maybe we won't go over here. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So with the brand split, though, we say, okay, we're getting rid of this in schools, and then we see which side, who objects from where, right? They're still going to try to do the same thing. It's just they're going to self-identify now, and we'll see who really wants to stand up and say something. And then what the other thing is that I say if this doesn't happen, this is what I think might happen with that group. Okay, it'll implode the day they try to put the M on the end of it. That'll be the big moment of truth. So if they hadn't split by then, they'll probably split at that point. But the credibility level is what we're talking about here. So getting a little ahead of it, we can save some good people from some hard times. Hopefully, I think that if the M goes on, it's over. I think it's over. I think if the M goes on, nobody in that community is going to have the credibility that they had. I think that there's going to be a lot of angry people that want to change things a little bit further than maybe we need to go. I'm just a prediction, but I can't see a world where M gets put on there without some serious stuff happening. And it makes me wonder if that's not just a way to agitate people into a reaction of that magnitude.
Oh yeah.
So Trucker John says, think they're just trying to let kids know that it's nothing wrong with them for their thought. That's one thing to, teach them what they need to be taught in school, and another to be teach stuff that they don't need to be taught in school. There's no reason that these kids need
I say
to be
that's my
taught how to
job,
be
you know?
curious
There are
at the
some
age of
thoughts-
2 or the
there are
age
some
of
thoughts
5.
Is he being
or the age
being
of
serious or
6.
sarcastic?
Yes.
Do you think he's being? I can't tell if he's being
he's-
serious or sarcastic.
Well, at this point, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to tell.
We can't
sometimes
read
between people
sarcasm.
trolling
That's the thing, is we don't know what kind
we
of
need to smile or
inflections he's
some
actually putting
emojis
on it.
or something.
Right. There's-
to not react to that.
It's right. It's just straight up words that are coming out of his mouth. So put it on the screen. So when he comes down to it, is he being serious? Is that how he actually feels? That it's okay for this mentally deficient human being to go and teach my child that it's okay to actually identify as something else?
Yeah,
I really
it's
don't
parental
think
rights,
it's
man.
okay.
Yeah, see, us as parents, it's up to us, not somebody else.
It's up to us. There
It's up
are
to us.
And
children,
there are
not
such
theirs.
things as bad thoughts, and there are such things as things that a child should not be thinking of and doing or whatever. And
Exactly.
if you put your kid into a school and the kid goes off and does things that are bad or that are wrong, I would hope that the teacher would have enough of an awareness of what right and wrong would be to correct said child.
Exactly. Hey,
I'm actually gonna hide this comment that's here from Matthew here. I'm gonna kind of hit on it real quick or whatever. That French couple that had the dog that come down with the pox of the monkey.
Oh, God.
Supposedly has lesions in spots that they shouldn't have lesions.
Yep.
And that's something.
Oh no.
Yeah. Evidently, you see kids with monkeypox, they shouldn't be getting it.
Oh,
So
there's the reply to the how is that being confused as sarcasm? Oh, okay, good to know.
John, yeah, it definitely has changed a lot and very rapidly. That's why it's hard to have this conversation with people that we kind of, we grew up with and that we know at this age, because a lot of them are already done raising kids and they don't realize what's going on now. So they're like, what are you talking about? Everything's great, because in their mind, everything stays the same the entire time. All throughout time, everything stays the same. It never changes. It's the same way it was when they were there. Just a little bit more techie. No, it changed rapidly. And the whole frustration about this is it happened right under our noses. Suddenly it was just there. And now we can't seem to get rid of it. That's what I'm saying. We need to act. Every day that we don't put a solution in on this is another day a kid is getting hammered with this stuff. And that's unacceptable. It's not
AmericaShirts. You check that comment from Chris Rowland. He ended up changing his name back to Chris Rowland. Just whatever. It's just something for you to take in, think about. Because I don't think that AmericaShirts is actually saying, that you can't be something. It's just like he's speaking of those children that it's unnormal for them to actually be going through those types of things.
Well, I mean all of it. I mean, societally, it's not a good thing to promote. Now I'm not saying you have to agree with that, Koolfrogg or Winning Reality or anybody else. This is my opinion.
Right.
And
it's
sure, there are exceptions
straight out
in my
opinion,
view.
and we accept anybody and all of their opinions.
Exactly. I would
I'm
highlight
not saying
the fact
that
you said
every
promote,
single individual, but
I would highlight you said promote. You're saying promote, which means that it's directly related to the advertisement and marketing of the lifestyle.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I've had people remove themselves from being personal friends for a long time, remove themselves from my life because I had called out them using a rainbow flag to, identify themselves or whatever. And he called me out for my transgressions for having, multiple children with multiple women. And I said, and do you be carrying around the flag saying, look at me? And he, so, I mean, as far as that goes, if you're going to sit there and promote things, let's promote all things. Let's give everybody a different flag for all the different things that they do and let them run around and be like, hey, look at me. You're not going to do that because you're like, oh, wait a minute. Yours is disturbing. Well, who gets to decide whose is disturbing and whose isn't? So, just a thought.
Yeah, totally. And this is the question that I like to ask, and I went down I went down to really figure out a lot of this stuff before I even started thinking about what I'm talking about right now. I went to figure out some big questions I couldn't get answered, like who runs the LGBTQ? Who runs it? Like who's in charge? Who decides? Well, yeah, we haven't got to the funding yet. Isn't that a no word? No. It's that we haven't got to the funding yet. But we're talking about who makes the decisions? Who decides to add the letter? Like where's the vote taken? I don't know where to find this place, and I don't know who decides these
Twitter,
things. And nobody else does either. That's the crazy thing; it just appears. So I don't know if there's a secret club.
John Jelaine says the alphabet.
Can anybody
agencies?
help? Can anybody who is part of that lifestyle please help answer these questions? Because I looked and I can't find it. What I found is that there are a lot of little groups that pop up all over the country, and that they are funded by other NGOs that then get their money from bigger ones that then get their money from the big man up top, right? So it seems like a scheme, doesn't it? Like a plan to put these places into action in every state for activist purposes, to go clog up the votes or to go get things pushed through or to create resistance, to create the sword of the shield. Really, that's the best way to say it. All over the place. So we got a dark money problem here. We got that's one way we can probably cut a lot of things really fast, is getting to the dark money and cutting it off. Now we're talking about going after the deepest of the deep states resources, are crevices. And then we're talking about
now
also
there is
globalists.
something to this flag that they've added, and not only did they add black and Latin X, because of course you can't say Latino or Latina because it's gendering things. We can't do that. You have to say X at the end of it. And then on top of that, in some parts of the world, what they've done is they've added the Ukrainian flag to the flag of everything flag. So now there's like Ukrainian colors on the outside of that triangle that's just continually taking up the entire rectangle shape that is that flag. Like it's never ending. It's just this mishmash of insane, mentally ill horse shit, like just spewed all over. Like what the hell?
No streets. Like it's just like everybody but the street people. It's like that's what I'm saying. It's just a pile-on, and what that is a broken coalition, and broken coalitions always break. They always break. So
some people just have the Ukrainian flag flying and that other flag, or they have them both combined. It's a weird scenario. Not exactly sure how to go about viewing that, but
Oh man. But there is a straight flag. Let me try to find it.
Oh my God, kill me.
The one that's hanging behind us.
What the hell?
So let me tell you a story about that. People using the rainbow flag as a virtue signal that aren't really part of the community, right? So one of my best friends in my lifetime, met him and his wife at the time, and me and my girlfriend at the time. We met at a show, right? We met at a show, and we were just like, "Hey, what's up?" We hung out, we had a good time, became good friends of ours really fast. And he ended up getting divorced from her, and then marrying another girl and having kids, right? And so they ended up moving down to Florida, and I haven't, we stopped, so we didn't really hang out anymore. So I talk to him every now and then, and so we start talking about issues and stuff. We're on different sides. He says he's an independent right down the middle, but he's not, man. He's a TDS he's TDS big time. But we talk about different things. I try to get his perspective so I can kind of gauge where. Let's see. Hold on, I want to read Chris's. Chris, do you follow me on Twitter? I think you're like one of my 16 or 17 followers
Chris,
on my
I like
shadow banned Twitter.
Chris is cool.
Yeah,
he's
I
really,
mean, he seems familiar.
straight
I
up
think that-
stand
I
up
found
to
out
a being.
And he comes from, I think he came from Good Logic.
Oh, maybe that's what
I've
it
seen him.
is.
I've seen him
Maybe I've
around
seen him
several
there.
different places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's
The,
the place I've seen him in.
Yeah,
Good Logic.
absolutely, Chris.
So,
we agree with you 1,000 times over on that one.
And here, of course, he's been here.
So like we're talking about the
Photo
Johnny
video.
Depp trial and stuff like that, and we were like, you know, he's fixated on the fact that Johnny Depp was so much older than Amber Heard. He's like, that's pedophilia. That's pedophilia. I was like, it's not pedophilia, man. He's like, yeah, it is. I was like, the thing is he got a 20-year-old daughter, so that's what's going on right there. But he's like, no, that's pedophilia. That's pedophilia. He won't like focus on anything else. The fact that he was a victim of narcissistic abuse, that this is a problem in society that we need to address. That that I've been affected by it. That one of his good friends, he wouldn't even acknowledge it. He was just so fixated on that, right? So that's one thing, and I say that for this reason. We started getting into the pedophile groomer thing. He lives in Florida, and sorry, I didn't mean to say that word. The Disney
Either one of them.
escapades, right? Either one of them.
Yes,
Either
the
one of them.
Mouseketeers.
Yes.
The
Oh,
freaking
my Lord.
Mouseketeers.
This
I
being-
love
that
how
being
those
said,
people
for
are now
the-
represented.
the
at the
nth
Disney. It's
amount of
beautiful.
time. This episode may not actually be found on YouTube. It'd probably be just over on Rumble.
Matt,
Just saying,
I
because
don't know what they haven't taken
YouTube
down any
really
of mine.
doesn't like certain words. They really don't. They really
You know what?
have
Maybe
an
we should
issue
refer to these people as Team
with
YouTube. Could we say that?
free
Could we,
speech.
could we, like every time we refer
Well,
to those,
if we start
particular
referring
maps-
to them as something, we need to as that something, as opposed to actually calling out these other words that YouTube just doesn't like. Just
I will
saying.
do my best. I apologize.
So the mouse.
I get a little
If you're
carried
gonna
away.
start
And Team
live streaming,
YouTube,
you're
I
gonna
got it.
have to learn these words.
I
I'm
know. I
telling you,
asked where I
you're
could
gonna
find
get
the
shut
rule
down
book.
real fast.
I asked where I could find the rule book. I can't find the rule book anywhere. I keep asking for it. I like, where do
You
you
got-
guys know all this stuff from?
You got to keep up with the memes. You got to keep up with the with the Twitter wars. You got to keep up with that kind of. I mean, all of the marching orders are there. It's is what works and what doesn't, and they throw it up there and people just go with it.
Wow. I don't know. I mean, I looked
There
for
in
it. I
other
really
places,
did.
of course.
I looked for it. I just wasn't sure.
Salty crackers.
Anyways.
Is a good place to start.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
anyway, so it turns out like we were talking about it, right? And so
That's what we should do. We should get a hold of Salty Cracker and have him write a rule book of words that are not allowed,
Yes.
because I'm sure he knows them all.
Oh my God. Yes.
Here we go. All right. I just sent you the flag, and because I can only get it on my tablet, so it's I put it over in Discord DM. So anyways, my friend he was like, I know I'm an expert. There's none in the schools around here. I could tell I'm an expert, right? And he also has a younger daughter that is now gay. Okay, so he thinks that every time I bring up this problem, that I'm talking about her. Like he seems to think that when I say these Disney escapade individuals are a problem in schools and they're a threat to my son, he immediately gets defensive and says that, no, it's not that. It's just these other people. It's just like he gets so defensive about it that he can't even hear the information or be concerned about how it may affect other people's kids, right? So I sent him the raw speech that guy Eric Roman gave, the escapator, right? And I sent it to him just like that. Like you could see this parts of this guy's what he's saying in my video, Groom Doctrination, right? Groom Doctrinators, right? And fly that during Pride Month. Dude, it's like it causes so much cognitive dissonance. It's like crazy.
The new straight pride flag is finally here. That's fun.
So I showed him the video, right? You like that? You gonna make a shirt out of it?
Oh my God.
You gonna make a shirt out of that?
That's so painful.
So I showed him the video and I asked him, I was like, is this cool to you? I was like, do you agree with what this guy's saying? That's basically what I said. I didn't say anything else. He goes, you watched, he goes, yeah, totally. He's like, what is that? Like a school board meeting? I'm like, yeah, it's a school board meeting. It's like, so you agree with what he's saying? You think that's pretty cool? He goes, yeah, definitely. You know, and he starts trying to, make his little argument about it. Right. And in the middle of it, I just sent him the article that says, that he's a ice capator, right? And then he's been caught and arrested. And he like had this moment of like complete panic where he didn't even know quite how to respond with a denial of what he's seeing. He was just like, oh, that's not the same thing. You just switched that. It's not the same guy. Like his mind scrambled so hard from that event that he couldn't even, and he was like underneath it all, pissed off at that point, right? Because I'd finally broken through like his denial gate, where he was just like convinced that he was the expert, right? Because he's done remarkable things in his life, man, no doubt. He's had 23 years of financial stability.
Koolfrogg,
He's raised all kinds of cool stuff, right?
Last comment there.
So we're talking, right? And he shows me.
Yes.
What?
It's perfect. That's the
Chipper
best
food.
term I've
There you
heard
go.
all night.
Nice.
Chipper food.
Awesome.
It's so perfect.
So I'll wrap this up real quick. The so he
Wrapping what up?
I'm just wrap the story up real quick.
I'm sorry.
So anyways, he goes so during to catch up, he's had this moment. He's realizing he's agreed with an ice skater or a chipper food, and he's having this panic attack, right? But he starts going into then he starts to kind of come after me, start trying to say stuff about my kid and so on. And I'm like, look, dude, you don't know that. I was like, you have no idea how I raised my kid. You have no idea this and that. I was just kind of like beating him back, but not arguing with him, but just saying, you don't have any idea about that. You don't know. You don't have any. And I said, why is it so hard for you to draw a difference between the two? He goes, look, see this picture? You take a picture of his office, and there's a pride flag hanging behind him, and it's all kind of faded. He goes, see that? I wear that to every football game down here. And I was just like, okay, man.
Chris,
I'm gonna need to go right now.
Let's go with the prison term chomos, and they can make fresh meat march for Mr. Chippy.
Oh my God.
So basically, the fact that his daughter had come out as a lesbian, he had taken that and turned it into a virtue signal for himself, and it was the weirdest thing to see. And all I could think about was like, I wonder how his other daughter feels about this. Him glorifying this act, this amazing act. It's like, okay, look, it's just a thing. Why are you trying to gain something off of it? I don't get what you're doing right here. You have no reason to be doing this. It's just crazy, and then complete denial that, he can't spot any chipper food when he sees it, right? Craziness.
It's so perfect. I mean, that is the universal term when it comes down to it, right? I mean, like whenever you say that, like that person is chipper food, like everybody knows exactly what you're talking about. It's like the cross linguistic barrier little word. Like you just run across the Hispanic guy and be like, "Oh, hey, chipper food." Oh, quick, get away. Grab the kids.
That's awesome. So
I'm sorry. I just seen so many memes.
nice. So how long you been in the t-shirt business? How'd you get started with that?
That's AmericaShirts are first, the most base shirts on the planet.
AmericaShirtsFirst.com, yes. I don't know how long I've been it. I guess it's been a year now.
Are you a graphic artist? Is that why you got into it? Or
No, it's just a thing that I wouldn't consider myself a graphic artist, but I just make the shirts. I do it, and I don't make them myself, but I have somebody like third party that you go through, and then you sell them. But I just come up with I just come up with designs for things and so forth. In fact, I took a couple of them down because I didn't think they were all that great. I had a little more than I did, but I've replenished like 3 or 4 others. So my latest one, abolish the FBI. Like, it's more of like trying to give people t-shirts to, have a move to help with this movement of pushing back against all of this stuff. Like equipping people with t-shirts like this so that, not only will others understand and know that, they're not alone, but also, again, the shirt that you wear, a picture speaks 1,000 words, and a picture with words speaks even more, I guess, right?
Mhm.
So, like, you wear that around, and people are going to know what the truth is, and people are going to know what's happening, and people are going to be aware that, like, you're awake and you're aware. Maybe I should be too, right? Like, it's the whole movement. Like, I'm trying to help and assist with that, and help push for all the right stuff.
It's cool, definitely.
And there's my latest one there, abolish the FBI, which we totally should do, and you should totally buy the shirt and show your support for that, and everybody else can know that you too want to abolish the FBI. I mean, imagine if we could get like 1,000 people with that shirt, abolish the FBI, to go out into some kind of a march or to go to some kind of a rally. Like behind Trump, there's like 50 people with an abolish the FBI t-shirt. Like,
That would be
freaking
great.
awesome.
Absolutely.
Or any rally for that matter,
Oh, no doubt. Yeah. The it's so funny. We grew up with the idea of these departments, right? We have our, whatever idea we got from, how we learned about who these people are, but they were supposed to be like, the good guys, right? We never, it's funny that now we're coming to the realization that, of exactly how big of a problem they've become and what they are. That I think the whole corruption aspect of that, maybe they were never clean, but I really would like to understand better kind of like how that they got onboarded. I guess I know something about that, right? But like where did that kind of originate from prior to that? Like, was the idea was like at a certain point we got to install this like totally corrupt law enforcement, federal.
Oh yeah, the FBI was installed because of prohibition, and they were going after the people who were making alcohol and selling alcohol and so forth. And that was the Federal Bureau of Investigation. That's where that started.
Yeah, but that started benevolently, or was that like? I'm just wondering if it was always.
Well, I think it's always been used as a excuse to spy on the American people, and to, again, it's the Federal Bureau of Investigate. Like the only thing they do is investigate, right? And like wave guns around people's faces and handcuff them. It's like, I mean, that's the only thing they do. They have no other operation but to constantly investigate. And that's what it is. They've always been used for that before World War I, after World War I, World War II, the civil rights movement. I mean, it's everywhere. I mean, like the church committee hearings talked about a lot of the things with the civil rights movement, and Hoover, J. Edgar Hoover.
So we can pretty much
burn in hell.
Anything they've been inside, anything they've been a part of is therefore either corrupted or a target of their corruption in some way, shape, or form, right? So, if we got rid of it, would we miss it? Like, is there anything that we would miss from that, and what we need to like make up for? I don't think we would either. I'm trying to think.
I don't think so.
I can't think of anything either.
I mean, like, what could local law enforcement not handle, right? It's like, why do you need to call the FBI if there's some crazy wacko-ness going on, Like, all they do is just instigate the wacko-ness, and then they come in and they say, I'm the hero. When they're
what's the last thing they did good?
Yeah, exactly. When the hell was the last time they've done a goddamn thing that's any good for anybody? Not shit. Except, I mean, there's minor occasions. I mean, like there's, that there's those people that are actually good people and whatever, but especially in the more modern day, I mean, that was a local FBI field office that went after Donald Trump and Mar-a-Lago. Like that was local. That wasn't the Federal Bureau. Where again, Sean Hannity's like 95%, like 99.999% of all of our. Like, no. That's not how this works. Not anymore. At least not anymore. They're all shit. Get the hell with all of them. I don't give a damn. No paychecks for you. Nothing. Just go. Get out of here. You're criminals. Dressed
Ron
up
Paul
with
was always about getting rid of those guys.
Get the hell out.
Yeah, he was always about getting rid of those guys. There's no point in it. And if there is something, we could always recreate something a little bit better and a little bit better
right.
managed,
I mean,
you know?
states can have their own. I mean, I don't know, what is it, like state police, and like, I mean, the federal government has always had federal agents underneath the Department of Justice. I mean, it's not like we have the federal marshals, for God's sake. I mean, like, what the hell do we need the FBI for? Like, why the hell does this exist? Well,
Right.
we needed somebody to go after prohibition. Like, okay, that was 100 years ago. The hell are you doing here? Get out.
Right. With technology, it's just a waste of money, and I think that's a good idea. We get rid of it as fast as possible.
Exactly. Invest in the U.S. Marshals. We've always had a type of a like Marshals service, right? We're like, I
Right.
mean, like in the Old West, right? Like, you ever see the TV show, like, Gunsmoke or whatever, right? He's the marshal,
Mhm.
right? Marshal Dillon, like it's the U.S. Marshal in that area that was federal territory at the time, but wasn't actually a state, and that was the federal marshals. They were the law enforcement arm for the Fed. Like, that was the U.S. Marshal Service. Like, you want something? We already have this. Why do we need a federal bureau to just perpetually investigate shit? We don't need this. Get
Nope.
the hell out.
Exactly.
I
Yeah,
want
that's
shirts.
definitely needs to go quickly. That would help a lot in a lot of ways. I think there has to be some layer of protection going on there between that group and the dark money, or at least the CIA and the dark money that's coming in to fund all the subversion in this country.
What
And
the hell with the CIA? To the hell with them.
yeah, that stuff has to go. And we need to flex our muscles when it comes to seizing funds and property for the real criminals in this world.
Oh yeah, and that's the other thing is, like, Congress can do that too. By the way, they can just be like, oh, so we're going to discreate you. Because we created you, now you're gone. Goodbye. Like,
Right.
I mean, Congress can do that. Congress is the one that created it. Congress can remove it, and also they can defund it as well, and then just let them shrivel up and die on the vine. Which, I don't know what would be more pleasurable, like watching these FBI agents, like, go outside and like wring their hands and like rip out their hair because they didn't get their paycheck or like their pension or whatever the hell, or you're trying to perpetually investigate and set people up for terrorista activities, and oh my God, we all have to be afraid of terroristas and whatever the hell.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know what would be more enjoyable, to watch them die on the vine, or just to be like, goodbye, just get the hell out. Like, I don't know what would be
I just want
more
things to go back to a good place to live that's safe, and we're not having to worry about what might happen 10 years down the road because we got the wrong people running things and our systems are corrupted. I would just be happy with that. I don't need to see much more than that. However, it would be fun to watch them just shrivel up and not be able to see Nancy Pelosi begging for money on the street. That would be
great. I want to
great,
see
wouldn't
them
it?
all outside with
I just leave her
pickets,
right there.
with pickets and signs protesting.
Yep.
We want this. We want
I'd walk by
that.
her every day and be like, hold on, let me see what I got in my pocket. Oh, I didn't bring it. Sorry. It's like, oh,
I'm sorry.
sorry, dude.
I spent also just money on vodka. Vodka last night. It's just too much vodka.
But I do worry about like the response. Like, what could they? That's why I want like people like us to put our heads together. Like, what could they possibly do if everything kind of goes in there and they and we actually do get that far? Like, how could they respond at that point? And like, what way would it be? I don't see them running off. Like, I don't see them just running off. These people have to have power. Like, it's in their nature to seek this, and they can never stop trying to seek it because they don't know what else to do. That's just it. I was talking to someone in the Discord today in the group chat, like vocal. We were just talking back and forth, and we were talking about this. There are different types of people in this world, and like a lot of people can't fathom the way an elitist thinks. They're born into their own system. They're born into a very closed system of people just like them. The thing about elitists is they think that they're better than everybody else. See, they're not really racist. They treat everybody equally beneath them, and they just they don't know what to do other than what they do. They don't know how. They would be like the most lost people you've ever seen in your life without the power and their ability to wield it. It would be, let's put them on an island with nothing, right? And see that. It'll be entertaining as hell. They don't know how to even take care of themselves for the most part.
Wait,
so
the power?
The power. I mean, when they don't have it. Like,
what's up? Oh, Jesus.
It's the it's the
It's the power. Hello, Fred. How's it going, bud?
Hey, Fred.
Divinity's
They,
in
they
the
gotta
house.
they gotta have their cover. You know?
The Michael Malloy show is in the house. What in the world? Hello. How's it going,
Welcome,
man?
welcome.
Yellow.
Obviously, not everybody is actually like him. And those two of you that have actually disliked the stream, thank you very much for promotion of this channel.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. It's probably me.
Dependable. The dependable downvoters.
Hey, they show up every night and they give me thumbs down. I love them so much for what they do. Thank you.
They're a
Every
blessing.
day. They are. Without them, I just wouldn't be me.
They're gonna be the first ones to sign up when you have memberships. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Get me to that 1,000. Get me to that 1,000.
You know they got that bell rung.
They got the bell wrong.
Oh, yes. No doubt.
Matthew said Palpatine did
Palpatine did
nothing,
nothing
wrong.
Hilarious.
Right? I love this. I love this group. This group is the best. Everybody that joins us on a regular basis are all awesome.
That's how you do it.
Frosted Sleet. I've never seen this person before. Welcome. Make sure that you actually hit that like button for me. Subscribe if you haven't already. Sitting at 433. I've grown quite a bit in the last few days. It's awesome.
Yeah, and please swing by my channel and take a look and subscribe, and a bell would be awesome.
XO is the best mod in the world. She's actually thrown your channel up several times tonight. I wouldn't doubt that you at least got some people subscribed. You've had to pick up at least a couple, if not more.
A couple. I understand it's been, you want to stick around. So I usually tell people, ask at the end. But yeah, I see. I've been at this for like, I guess going on 4 months now, and I've already kind of hit the shadow ban, the Valley of the Shadows. I'm already there. Which
dude,
it won't discourage
you don't
me.
know how bad we were shadow banned for how long. Like you put my name in, you wouldn't even come up with anything that would do for so long. Because
So does
that
it like
very
wear
first
off
episode,
eventually?
Eventually it does wear off. That very first episode we put up was we were talking about the Koof and certain documents that came from a particular company, and as as this episode catching our very first strike, it was just hilarious and so fun. I'm like, yes, I got it done and over with. I don't have to worry about it any longer.
Nice. Man,
Who'd go to what? Koolfrogg, you got Ish asking at least what would amount to who would go after interstate crime? Confused on the question. Sorry.
I think it's the way that it's kind of like drawn out now. If a crime crosses state lines, it's a federal matter. That's right? Is that right? I think that's what it is. So they're saying that that's kind of
they tried telling you that Kyle Rittenhouse crossed state lines and
cross state lines.
God,
they cross state lines, damn it!
People are just hung on to that for so long. It's the denial, man. It's the denial.
Lines. Do you see the line? Do you see the line? Do you see the states? Do you see the states? See that state? See that state? He crossed the line. State lines.
Divinity says, "Is there a topic?" No, not really. There never is a topic on a throwdown. It's usually we invite somebody in and we hold a 3-person conversation and whatever's going on. And
We've covered a lot of ground. Definitely. We've definitely covered a lot of ground tonight.
Exactly. In the 2.5 hours that we've been here, we've covered a lot of different topics.
Well, that's because
And-
winning reality is very smart. So
Yes.
They're kind of all
goes by
related.
very quickly.
They're all kind of interconnected among them. You know, the root cause issues that are out there, and yeah, they're relevant. But you know, shoot, they're things that are right in front of our face right now. So,
Well, you haven't really addressed the the population issue. It's really getting very bad. I've had different programs to reduce the population. It's really getting very well. We're producing a lot of childhood death, and that's really what we're searching for.
no doubt. They yeah, that the whole idea that there's not that there's a population issue, you know, it's amazing.
It's
that
really
people buy into
getting
that.
quite scary. Actually, it's really scary.
So,
I don't really like all of
John,
these
we can't talk
people
about that
running
stuff, man.
around. It's not all that entertaining after a while. It gets very old.
Michael
need to
Gohagan
reduce
says
that
you
a
will
little
eat the
more.
bugs, own nothing, and be happy. Yeah. Oh, yep. Exactly.
So okay, so that's a good thing to talk about right there. So what are you guys' opinion on that? Like the bigger globalist kind of agenda going on at the moment.
We've covered the World Economic Forum several times, and I believe we've come to an agreement that the one world order is not the way, and it's really going to be hazardous to a lot of people in the long run. Creating these cities that are self-reliant on themselves, where you don't need to own, you just be transported from place to place to do what's needed, and if you don't comply, then they just throw you over the edge. It's really disturbing. It really
Right.
is.
I don't think that they've just completely dropped it or anything. It's just the implementation of it is like the slow blowing frog. It's coming up around us slowly, and so I think it's I don't particularly follow that much, but that it's to track that and to understand where those little small changes are happening and how rapid they are kind of gives us a view of when and if something more drastic could happen here, if there is any kind of coordination on it, just to kind of, it'd be good to know, right? It's kind of like a timeline check, just for they are tied together, don't you think? I mean, I don't think that bringing in the Great Reset as it is can happen without us and going along with it. Is it just going to be incremental and small? Is it going to be incremental and small until it reaches a certain point and then it accelerates faster?
Oh, it's the pattern of terror. It's like, it goes up and then down, and then up and then down, greater, and then greater, and then greater. And that's what all the coof stuff and lockdown stuff is. But before we get to all of that, I mean, there was the generalized, like, what do you all think of that sort of thing, right? Like, what do you think of the World Economic Forum? Like, what do you think of this sort of global world order here? And I think this pretty well sums it up right here.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Fuck you. I got plenty of words for you, but at the end of the day, fuck you and your new world order, and fuck the horse you rode in on and all your shit. You people are criminals. And just because you get the whole media to gaslight us and tell us that classical tyranny is a good thing, it's not. Everything you're doing is 101 evil, classically bad, classically evil, out of every dystopic novel, out of every dystopic country. Authoritarian lockdowns coming. Fuck you. Fuck you.
He says what we all think.
He does. He says a lot of things that a lot of people think, and he's very outspoken about it. It's great.
That does pretty well sum it up, I think, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
totally in agreement with that. You see, that wasn't so hard to find. I mean, I think back, 10 years ago, people were really trying to figure out like who were these people, let's put names and ranks on them, when it's really just this glob of an idea that's just been working.
Yes, the Emmerich Jones bar, the Emmerich Jones jar. Yes.
Yeah, in a compartmentalized way, and then kind of like all merges together at one time. Again, elitists just think they know what's best for us, and that we're just here to serve to their needs, and that's the elitist mindset. That's the thing I was saying earlier. Is people like us don't have that mindset. It's hard for a lot of people to imagine somebody who actually wakes up in the morning and thinks like that and acts like that, can be that cruel, can be that moralist, cannot feel, cannot regret.
But I wear a pink sweater. I wear nice cashmere. I have a lot of like sort of pastel type colors in my closet. I wear I got that. I got the normal classic pink one that I think most people probably are pretty well familiar with. But I also have the blue. I also have that not a lot of people realize I wear purple too at times, So it's very I have a very good way of dealing with that out of hand, because the sweaters and all.
I really like that pink sweater that you got on.
All right.
I think it scared him.
The lizard people. Maybe the lizard people
Right.
are actually maybe they're actually just Botox people coming back from the past.
Yes.
I
think that's what it
Trucker
is.
John, is this guy trying to sound like Emo Phillips? No, that's Bill Gates. That's Bill Gates. If you don't know who that is, you should do some research on him and see what he's really about.
I
It's
don't
amazing
like very
what
large
Bill Gates doesn't like
populations.
and what he does.
I really would like to reduce that by a really large margin,
This equation has four factors, a little bit of multiplication. So you've got a thing on the left, CO2, that you want to get to zero. And that's going to be based on the number of people, the services each person's using on average, the energy on average for each service, and the CO2 being put out per unit of energy. So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to zero. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to zero. That's back from high school algebra. But let's take a look. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
I mean,
You see, if we really try hard to, reduce the population by, like perhaps, to start with, 10 or 15%, that would be a good start, actually, to really get that number down,
It's like, I don't understand, like, what makes him think he's a population expert. It's just like, that's the whole, just this rich
Well,
guy.
I mean,
He's good at
I have a
computers,
lot of
that
money.
thinks that he
Billionaire that he
knows
is.
everything now. It's like Dunning-Kruger on steroids with that guy. And why do people listen to him? It's like, he's not going to give you any money.
Because I wear a pink sweater, of course. Why else do people listen to people like me talk for so long, Pardon me.
This is amazing.
We're developing, through technology, an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint. What does that mean? That's where are they traveling? How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform? So individual carbon footprint tracker. Stay tuned. We don't have it operational yet, but this is something that we're working on.
And you notice each time that we play one of these clips or whatever, at the end of whatever they say, the whole audience starts giggling and laughing like it's funny that we're actually trying to talk about reducing the population to reduce the carbon footprint, because that's what's going to fix it.
Oh, knowing everything you do from the time you get up to the time you go to sleep. We're going to know how much you eat, when you go to the bathroom, when you go up the stairs. All these things matter when it comes to carbon. That's the biggest scam going. I mean, it's the biggest scam going. A scam when the solution is they get more money and we get less of everything. That's reasonable, because we're going to learn how to set the dial on the thermostat that's at the center of the earth, I guess. How are they going to do that? What's it supposed to be set at? I mean, I don't even know. 76? I have no idea.
Cue the pregnant man meme.
I mean, we could do a quick search. I'm sure that we could find that particular meme without an issue.
When the scam gets to the level where everybody's kind of repeating it and buying into it, there's nothing more frustrating than that. Just watching it roll on. And the thing about it is whenever that happens, there's no debate about it. There's no hearing the other side, which is why a lot of conspiracy theories are the ones that are way out there do so well, because people don't get answers to questions they want. They're not taken seriously. They're not allowed in the conversation if they object, and that is the true sign of a sitting enemy, in the seats of power. I mean, we know better, right? There's the indications that of our state around us all the time, and certain people just have normalized to that existence in that way and don't see it. People like us do, in every way, shape, and form. And like I think I was talking to Koolfrogg earlier. It's just really, it's abuse. It's abuse on half of the people on this planet that probably could be looked at it in a different light. When we realize that we were all born into this and we're all victims of it on some level at some point in our lives, if not still. And that we were all kind of born the same way, like innocent, love, and light, just willing to be open to other people and other things. And these people have been able to obscure that and really ruin the experience of life for many people along the way. It'd be nice to see a time when that's not true.
Oh yeah, now more so than ever. I mean, the standard of living is so goddamn expensive at this point, and it's been this way for a while. It just keeps going up, and now it's just skyrocketing. I mean, everything is rental. You own literally. I mean, you can't own anything. Like it's too expensive. You can't own it. Only the rich can own, and you don't have anything. And if you know somebody that has something that's paid off, it's because they bought it like 30, 40 years ago. I mean, that's the way that this is. You have no liberty. You have no real freedom. You have no ownership of anything. It's all owned by the bank, so it's all owned by somebody else. And then, of course, the IRS wants to come in and take it. I mean, we've been over a lot of this in the previous streams, these different bits and parts and so forth.
Absolutely. It's like a cageless prison, right? And we just get accustomed to it. And the hardest part is that half of us can maybe half of us maybe half can see it, and we can't get the other half to kind of work with us to stop it. So breaking down that wall is key to their power and to our future. Some way, shape, or form, we have to kind of weigh the divisive things on put them away and try to at the right moments capitalize on a way to bring people over. So say like this, we do take every seat of government, right? We take every seat of government. We got it. And there's still, there's going to be still a lot of people that are going to believe the old ways, and as long as they still believe the old ways have a way to get back, right? We can't never go to sleep on things again.
Oh no, you have to stay
in that
awake.
case, yeah.
Nobody, when we win all these elections, hope and pray to God, no one can go back to sleep. Nobody can just be like, oh, okay, everything's better. No. Hold the line, stay the hell awake, look in front of you, look around you, be aware. Why the hell would you go back to sleep with all of these ravenous wolves ready to eat you and your children? All these big people with all this money and all of this power, and they want to just destroy you and crush you. And you're just like, oh, okay, well, we won one time or whatever. I mean, yeah, okay, that's good and that's great. But, what happens if some of those congressmen and women or senators and so forth, let's say in the midterms, that are really good MAGA people, get a lot of pressure to do something opposite or not do what they're supposed to do? You still have to apply pressure and let them know that you back them up. This is not a game of what can we get around? How much can we skirt? How much can we, how much can we not do? No. It should be how much can I do? It's not how much can I not do. It's how much can I do within my own limits. That should be the question. Exactly. It's not what the least amount of thing I can do to help, and then I'm just going to do it. No. What's the most you can do within your limits to help and push? This is a constant effort every freaking day. This is your liberty, and this is your freedom, and this is your country we're talking about here, people. This is not a video game. This is not some sort of, like some transient cause of like, oh, well, we got that politician guy in there. Look at that. We did good. Whatever. It's like, no, it's not about Trump. It's not about one of these other different people. This is about preserving your nation as a whole. So you have to stay awake and stay aware and stay vigilant.
Most definitely. I wanted to be sure to mention also that totally off. Now we're kind of like, I got something a little bit different, but I did want to bring up the epidemic of narcissistic abuse in our society right now, and how it's impacting people that are really marginalized in the conversation, and that's the males that have been abused in a narcissistic way, and the destruction that it causes in their lives. And I don't want to dwell on it too much, but I do want to put out there that if anybody listening is going through something right now, and they can't make sense of it in a relationship, and things were one way and they were awesome and then one day something just changed and you can't seem to get back there. Every time you try, the goalposts move. You're being told you did things that you didn't. You're being framed in a way that you're not. This is not normal. And if you're going through this kind of stuff as a man or a woman, you need to reach out to groups of people that have been through this type of thing, and they can help you get out of it. Because one of the things that people don't realize about it is that when you are in this, what I call the rigged game of a narcissistic abuser, you don't know you're in the game until it's already started. And you're already kind of, in most cases, trapped in by something. In my case, it was, I wasn't going to leave my 1-year-old with somebody so she can just make another one, right? I was willing to kind of put up with almost a decade of really confusing, hard times to make sure that this did not happen again. And luckily, things turned out my way and my son's way, and they've gone that way since. But it took a long time to be able to get her to leave. I literally had to. It's either that or I paid for her to turn my son into a narcissist, right? So I'm willing to take the punches and deal with that, deal with all of it to do it. But if you're in the middle of it right now, I know that it's confusing and you probably don't know what's going on, or you can't put your finger on it, or you've always been able to fix these kind of things. It's not going to change. The game that you're in is rigged from the beginning. It was never a real relationship. It's just like, it's these things you have to accept.
Well, no, these people have never been honorable. I mean, that's the whole, it's like, oh, well, we're gonna, you're like, oh, okay, so you're the other side of the political aisle, I'm this, and we're going to have a debate, and we're going to have it. Like, no, they've never been genuine. They've never been.
I'm
honest.
talking
They've
about
always
like
been
male
secret.
female relationships. I'm talking about
Oh,
like,
you're just talking.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I was
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
oh, okay.
I mean, it's like this is another topic I wanted to make sure I talked about tonight, because I wanted to tell people that, you know, there
Just
is
that explicit.
help
Okay,
out
gotcha.
there. Yeah, there is help out there, and
Exclusively.
it's in survivor groups. People that have been through it are the only ones who really know how to explain what's going on and how to tell you to get out of it and how to help you counter the things that are happening to you, because we've lived it. And the weird thing is about this is that we all have the same story. Like Johnny Depp's story is all of our stories, right? The way the conversations went, the way the stages went, the way that it was presented. And well, you know, sometimes like the girl, the OnlyFans girl who just stabbed that dude to death. Sometimes it ends up like that. Sometimes it ends up with a missing fingertip. Sometimes you get out with less scars on the outside than you do on the inside. But you can get help. And if anybody is in that situation, I'm going to make a special place on my Discord. I'm putting it together. Nobody's in there yet, but I want to have a place for people that think they may be going through this and need someone to talk to stop in and be able to actually speak with somebody who can help them analyze the situation, and then, you know, give them the advice that could help them maybe save a lot of their mental and physical health. Because if you don't, it wears you down and you're kind of just left isolated and on your own and left in confusion. And a lot of people never really recover their lives. And it's
And
good
to be
that
honest,
this thing,
it is like, you know, what these people in politics, just as an example, I mean, you know, it's like it's what these people in politics do.
You're
And they'll
absolutely
sit
right.
there, and then they'll go, and then they'll be like, you know, like, for example, Trump, right? The constant gaslighting, the constant lying, the constant manipulation, because it's all about power. And that's the thing. That's the consistency, no matter what level these individuals are, whether it's a personal relationship or a governmental position. These people are power-hungry sociopaths that would love nothing more than to crush you, to
Well, they're
get
devoid of
to meet
feelings,
their ends.
you know, and empathy.
That's it.
So yeah, so they can do that. They can wear the mask, you know, and when you're in it on a one-to-one level, and I bring up like as above, so below. Like people hear that term and they don't really. They say, okay, I kind of get it. But honestly, if you keep this in mind when you look at a lot of these issues from the top to the one-to-one, right? You'll see where that actually makes sense over and over and over again. Just like you said, because I would again associate that with the elitism at the top that's been in leadership in our entire life, and influencing the culture and people with that I'm better than you attitude. And that's the essence of narcissism. Is they hate themselves, they feel inadequate, but they also think that they're better than you because you're kind. Your kindness is a weakness. Like every time you're kind to them or try to help them, I say, you know, we can go see somebody, we can do this. They're always this game in that. There's this, you can't believe the level of insanity. And then they would mix up children in it, and they would mix up any kind of leverage they can get. It's insanity. And for somebody like myself who had successful relationships and done very well throughout life in terms of meeting women and having relationships and so on, I had no problems. You know, the only thing holding me back in my life was me and where I was and what I thought that I had to offer in a real relationship. And I got to the point where that wasn't an issue anymore. And the first one that I ended up with is then I get this huge problem, right? And so I'm like, I wasn't thinking it was ever going to happen to me. I wasn't even looking for that kind of stuff. I was buying every word she was saying. And I even actually at one point I said, okay, I don't think this is going to work. Kind of early on, I was like, I think, things might be I'm kind of looking for someone to marry. I'm kind of looking to get settle down and stuff. And dude, she begged and cried on her hands and knees and just wouldn't leave the town I was in. But we were a tight knit community. And I kind of think, well, you're getting older. Maybe you're just being too hard on her. Maybe she really does, care about you that much. And maybe it's just this is the reason why you haven't met anybody, because you've blown off, people that actually did care about you when, you didn't think it was the right time for them, for you. And you didn't want to drag them into like a struggle. Right. But so, that I kind of talked myself into that. And that was probably a big mistake. Of course, I can't say that because I have my son and he's the greatest thing that ever happened. So I don't want to ever say it was a mistake. I can just say that it's not really something that's pleasant and I wanted to go through, but what I can do though, and I learned through the Depp trial, you know, is I have a lot of knowledge and skill about this now, and I can help other people, and hopefully I can stop some people from getting involved in that kind of situation, and maybe I can help pull some people out. And I have, you know, I do frequently stop by the survivor groups that I've been in, and I look and see who's saying what, and I try to you know, give my best advice and help to them. So if you are going through this, you know, please reach out to me. I'll be glad to help you at any time. In any way.
You know, Winning Reality is on my server as well. So anybody that's a regular watcher that is actually part of my Discord, you know, check them out, talk to them, you know, whatever. So then to go along with what you're saying, Talking Trash and Truth says classic. You're always wrong. You're the cause of every problem.
Yep.
You aren't understanding enough. You're high maintenance. Second comment was male or female. They will make you feel small, guilty despite being innocent. They'll hurt you by mocking you and then tell you that you're a drag because you can't take a joke. They left the third one as well that says they'll withhold affection, hate to compliment you all, accept total submission, and thrive on manipulating your emotions for fun. I believe that was it. Oh, there's one more. It's crazy how you turn yourself inside out just to get a crumb of attention or affection from them. And yeah, it's like magic how they isolate you. You don't even realize it till way later.
Yep, that's a survivor. That's someone who's been through it right there. I can tell right away.
By the way, welcome to
that knowledge.
Make sure that you actually hit that like button for us, and you know, subscribe. You know, you'd be surprised what kind of content we actually do cover on a weekly or daily basis. It's very interesting, very fun.
Yeah, I have a series called Epidemic on Display, which is all about these topics. It's not complete yet. It's always a work in progress, but it's there, and hopefully there's some pointers and some ideas in there that can help people out with that. But yeah, that was totally on the nose about that. You know, I was literally the way it started. The day the mask came off for me, in my story is that we'd had after the baby was born, we had moved into another place, right? And we had this arrangement where, and I've told you about, like, you know, I'm a musician, and I was in a music scene down here, and I did a lot of stuff in music, and I, you know, did the tour and stuff. But this is local after the touring days, and we would go up to the local bar, right? And I played up there a lot, you know, and that was my scene. I brought her into my scene, by the way. So we go up there and we take turns. Like, she would go up and then she'd come home like halfway through, and I'd go up there. This is how we just did this in the early days, right? And it worked fine until one night when she was supposed to come back, she didn't. And I called and texted, like, hey, you're gonna be here soon? After like 10 minutes. I gave her 10 minutes even. And it's like, no answer. Hour goes by, another hour goes by, nothing. I get a little bit of something, and then it's like nothing again. I'm on the way. I'm so sorry, I lost track of time. You know, do what you want, beg for forgiveness. That's a thing they do too. And from that day on, nothing was ever the same. It was all it was never the same, and that continued. So like throughout my son's life, his early life, you know, go off, say you'd be home at a certain time, blame somebody else, come up with an excuse. Always, this is like terrible, right? So that is what the kind of the isolation kind of went through, and that's what, you know, believe me, your kids realize it too, and they realize the craziness too. And my son eventually saw it, and you know, I think he was the biggest factor in getting rid of her. Actually, when he walked out one day, it's just, Mom, I don't want you to live here anymore. You know, and that was awesome. So we finally got away from all that. We're all good now. I don't want to bring people down with my story or anything, but I just want to, you know, say I'm not ashamed to talk about it. You know, and I'm nobody else should be too. It's a real thing, and it's sinister, and you don't see it coming. Even the smartest people get nailed by it. Even the people with tons of resources and people around them looking out for them get nailed by it. Think about what Amber Heard was able to pull off. You know, that's the power and the ability of these people to actually just wear a mask and play a game. And then they turn all your friends into their enablers, right? They replace you and wherever you are. Some of them do it that way. That's what Amber wanted to do. I mean, in some ways, she wanted to replace Johnny as the big star, right? So it's always about that. They want what you have. And I had a lot going on at the time. I was well known, played in many bands. I had a whole music scene going on where people were happy and successful and getting paid more money than they ever had
Well,
been paid.
they're leeches. They're human
Yeah.
parasites. I mean,
Yep.
that's just what they are. And I think the other thing that, and I've mentioned this, I've made mention of this, other places as well as here, is we have to be awake and aware that evil does in fact exist. It's not just simply, some sort of, bad guy on the television, but that's fake reality and that doesn't happen in the real world. Oh, yes, it does. There are such a thing as evil people who will do anything for their power over you or to, as I said, suck the very lifeblood out of you. If
Energy
they have
vampires. They're totally energy vampires. They really do. They really do want that. And what they're after is like they call it narcissistic supply, something they're lacking. It's like they need that to live. And so they're just trying to drain every bit of it out of you. So now these days, the first thing I try to do when I get to anywhere is piss off the narcissists so they identify themselves in the room. I generally can do that pretty well. I've learned how to kind of do that subtly. And then once I know that, I kind of just make sure that they know that I'm a depleted supply. Like, don't even come this way with none of that shit, man. I've been through it. I see it. And I want nothing to do with it. I will only call you out. So
then Talking Trash and Truth did follow up and say, oh, they're the smoothest operators there is. Could you imagine if they used their powers for good?
Yep.
Who
do we think
if they
that all
use
these
their
people
powers for good, it would be amazing.
Who do we think that all these global elite people are? I mean, they're all evil sociopaths. They all are just massive parasites. I mean, that's what they've created, a giant club of these people for each other to join in and partake in the destruction of the rest of us, so that they gain whatever the hell they want out of it. I mean, let's just be honest. This is why they're at the top and you're not, because they're smooth criminals. I mean, that's just the way.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. I mean, look at Mark Zuckerberg. He's nothing but a robber baron. I mean, he has nothing outside of stealing your data and information without your explicit consent. I know there's the consent of like hitting the button, but I mean, that explicit consent of like, oh, you're going to use my data, share my data with all these people, give it over to the government, give it over to this, give it over to that. I mean, he doesn't have anything outside of that. Without that data that he is able to sell, he's nothing. He's just a crook. I mean, he's taking your stuff and not actually telling you that. I mean, that's just like if somebody came over to your land and was like, hey, can I camp out over here for a while? Like if you had like a piece of property or something, let's say it's like, hey, can I come over here and camp out for a while? It's like maybe you have an acre or something, I don't know, or like a quarter of an acre, and they think it's nice. They want to camp out. It's like, oh yeah, sure. And then they just bring all this equipment in and they just like start drilling for oil, and then it's like, well, wait a minute, like what the hell? It's like they start like making money. Oh, sorry. But you let us on, so we get to do whatever we want. It's like, what do you mean? Oh, well, when you told me okay to do this, I also said some other stuff under my breath before that, and then it's like that's not how this works. It's like you could just all these little tiny words that they throw throughout all of these things, these social media companies, and they're like, like, hey, we're going to give your data away for this or that or da da da, and they explain every single thing in 850,000 pages of legalese that nobody understands outside of somebody who's been in a law practice for 45 years. I mean, it's ridiculous. No one is expected to understand that, and they know that. They're robber barons. I mean, this is how these people get to the top, is they're leeches. They don't have anything themselves other than to rob and to pillage and to loot. And that's how they have the money that they have. A lot of them. Not everybody, obviously, but
Right. No doubt. Yeah, no, it does take that mentality, and the ones at the top level of it are, the most extreme and the most they've already like created a closed society for themselves, right? So it's rampant. Actually, I was talking with Mad Rhetoric today. He's who I was talking with in the Discord, and we talked about a lot of stuff. And I was telling him about this closed society. Like I was like, he asked a question about kind of like the mentality, like the Hunter Biden kind of stuff we were talking about. And I was like, they come up, they live in this closed society. And I've heard, I don't know if you guys have seen these kind of like interviews of people that have escaped the elite have run away from them and told about what their upbringing was like and how they're being groomed and indoctrinated too, from the beginning. And they're being groomed into something a little different, something much more sinister, the elitist mindset, the elitism that bleeds down all this corruption and all these corrupt ideas into our systems, that divide us with these plans, these strategies, by marginalizing people or by shuffling them into groups with labels or by singling out one group and turning all the groups on. These are all things that they manufacture. They start this stuff. It's not natural. It's not organic. This isn't things that come from us. These are things that come from them. And then they're played out by us, by those who believe what they're saying and those who don't, and that's where we're at today with this. And the root cause, right? We go to the root is these people and their closed society and what they're doing, and they're breeding mental illness. And that mental illness leaks down, and people that are idolizing it, want to be part of it, or feel powerful with it. And then there's abusers abuse other people. They make new abusers, and it cycles down, right? But these people grow up in this closed society where all this crazy shit happens, and they like the Biden family and all the incestuous stuff that's going on there, and how that's not even the dude's still president, and we just tolerate it, and they don't seem to think anything less of him for it. Like none of them, like none of these people around him. Nobody's saying anything about that kind
And
of
then
stuff.
after all of the releases of Hunter Biden's stuff, all of a sudden there's like, oh, and there he goes, the president with his son, and they're all going to the beach, and it's just so wonderful. And oh, look, it's like, wow, all you see is him like butt naked, and all of this with like, all kinds of, child trafficking things and so forth. I mean, it's just like they're all just going up the stairs.
Those kids become very decadent too. They have the same child experience in the way that they have that rebellious stage and so on. But they're so decadent. They're raised to think that they're so much better than everybody else. They just go nuts. And then every now and then, one's so stupid they leave the evidence laying around or they get caught. But there's been other documentaries, or there's been other instances of elite kids kind of telling their story about what life is like being growing up as an elitist and under that kind of in that close society. And believe me, there's things that we couldn't imagine going on from the time that they're born until they become the ones in charge. There's all kinds of things that we wouldn't even think of because we're not this kind of people. Who knows how bad it gets, right? Maybe one day we will, but you got to understand there's a lot of mental illness and like on a psychopathic high cluster B level that is coming out of there, and that they wear a mask just like the low level narcissist trying to pick on the person trying to love them. You're right, and I've drawn that correlation as well, Shirts. That it's
a bit of a spectrum of evil. It's how dedicated and how far are you along the path of evil? Are you short along the path? Are you really well along that path? How far are you willing to go with this? How much are you willing to sacrifice of yourself to do evil?
Know your enemy, Rage song.
Exactly.
Back when Rage was cool. Yeah, man. So
okay,
no, I totally agree.
Not to change the subject, but somebody asked a question over 25 minutes ago.
Oh, man.
I really want to actually ask the legitimate question, just as we changed the subject. They asked this question.
And he's leaving.
I have a legitimate question that has been bothering me. Even if we get people into governor and congressional positions, the FBI is still owned by the Dems. So what is supposed to happen?
Abolish the FBI.
If either one of you can try giving a really good...
I would say that...
Pretty much where it goes.
No, I would say that I would say that okay, so the FBI is actually considered deep state, and I was listening to someone explain this the other day, and this made a lot of sense, and I kind of knew this, but he put it in really good context, right? But that the Dems aren't necessarily, there are Dems that are part of the deep state, but they don't control the deep state. It's more like the other way around. Like the man behind the curtain in our political paradigm is the deep state. That's the man behind the curtain. That's the man that was controlling the left-right false paradigm. That's the man that helped put the neocons in charge of the GOP, right? So that's that's the apparatus we're talking about. And if you look at it through a subversion filter, right, and you understand the stages of subversion and what the goals of that is, one of the major goals is to create a large, enormous bureaucracy where their government policies and ambitions can continue regardless of who's in charge, right? So what do? They hold all the secrets. They get into that world. They hold all the secrets. They operate in secret. They get everything. They become very untouchable, and they're unelected, and most, they're unelected for the most part, and then they hire the people again under them. They're not elected. So all these people with tremendous amounts of power, we never elected them, and they're the ones at the end of the day telling the establishment, the politicians what to do, And so when Biden says he didn't know about the Trump raid, there's a good chance he didn't. And people are like, there's no way he didn't know. He'd have to sign up. But dude, there's a good chance that he really didn't know about that and just was told later.
Biden doesn't know if there's shit in his pants. I mean, like,
right?
It's take much for this individual to not know things.
To answer your question, man, I hope that answered your question. But I think that the other divinity said that just get rid of it. We've been saying that all night. That's the easiest way to deal with them. I think the idea is this: like, there's been other presidents that have been wanted to do this, right? We all know the one that was really vocal about it, and what happened to him, right? So, and I'm talking about JFK, of course, but that's when you're treading where the sharks live, and swimming where the sharks live. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's definitely a plan. I don't know how announced it'll be. I would just say have faith that you can't get anywhere without doing that, and that if anybody is serious about reforming and ending corruption has that on their agenda. And now, why it didn't happen last time, I don't know. Maybe that was just something that he couldn't do because of the lack of support that he had and the amount of shit he had coming at him left and right to derail his any kind of progress or any kind of favor he could win, So
okay,
I hope that answered your question.
There was a statement that was brought up real quick or whatever, and you can go back to what you were talking of. Trucker John says, I got a bail. See you guys later. Tomorrow I'm live on my channel at 9 a.m. Pacific time. That'd be 10 in the mountains, 11 Central, noon on the East Coast. If anyone's interested, the title of the show is going to be, looks like treason, spelt wrong. It has 45 in the center of that. Love to see you guys there. Thank you for John. I'm glad that you actually enjoyed yourself. Maybe somebody can actually try checking that out. I know that I'm subscribed to you. If I see that you're live, I'll see if I can't hit you up. Have a good night.
Yeah,
sleep well.
Take care.
Oh, and by the way, to go along with Biden, I do have a little snippet of what's going on with him currently here. Just a little something.
Hey, I need my butt wet.
Hey, what's wrong with Dad?
He pooped his pants again.
I thought I smelled something.
Hey, what are you looking at? Ain't you ever seen a guy poop his pants before?
So he's just like sitting there in his own poop?
I tried to get him to wear a diaper, but he won't. He said diapers are for people who poop their pants.
Holy Parmesan cheese! I think I've got a good idea. I'll be right back. Hey, Dad.
I'm not wearing a diaper. Diapers are for babies.
Has this ever happened to you? Your senile father refusing to wear adult diapers after crapping his pants? Introducing the Pins by Hunter Biden. Artistic adult diapers that celebrate some of America's most amazing Democrats. Take a jump in all of them.
Wow! Is that a picture of Barack America on a diaper?
Yeah, Dad. I drew it for you. Will you wear my artistic adult diapers?
Oh, honey, of course I will. I just took a dump on America. Can you smell it?
With Hunter Biden's adult diapers, you can take a crap anywhere, and no one will ever know. What's wrong, Dad?
Nothing. I'm just taking a shit.
Trade diapers with your friends.
Tonight I'm gonna take a dump on your face, Joe. Then I'm gonna take a dump on Michelle. Hey, well, I just had some Taco Bell. I'm gonna take a dump on myself.
Dad, why don't you take a dump on me?
Oh, honey, you make me so proud. You're the smartest person I know.
I love you, Dad. And remember, peasants, I'm not just a spokeswoman for Hunter Biden's adult diapers. I'm also a client. Oh, yeah. Hunter Biden's diapers. Take a dump on my face.
Take
awesome.
a dump on my face. That's so funny. Real quick, Toy Box Brand says, fudge me in the booty hole. He actually live streams from his truck. That's cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Trucker John actually does live stream from his truck. If you actually see Gene and Divinity both had posted YouTube channel for this particular gentleman. Definitely, everybody check him out. He's
Cool.
pretty cool. He's
Nice.
interesting.
Let's take some questions from the crowd. Crowd,
Oh,
ask
that
some
was
questions.
the United Spot, by the way. Go subscribe.
That is the United Spot. Make sure you check out the United Spot.
Laugh your ass off like 5 times a day. With every God, he came out like a
he
million
seriously
views.
posts like 5 times a day.
That's dude. Yeah, it's using After Effects. It looks like, or something along that line. So it's a lot of work.
Anywho's said he wants to take questions.
He wants to take questions from the audience. Okay, yeah.
No,
If anybody
we
has
all do
anything
it.
that they'd like
I mean,
to
I
share,
don't
go
know.
ahead.
Sometimes these people are kind of scary. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Fred.
Ask away if you
Respect
have
for
one. If
Posting
not, we'll just
5
keep
times
talking.
a day. Couldn't imagine posting 5 times a day. I could. It's ridiculous. We are going on 3.5 hours. If anybody does have a question, please share it. As soon as you possibly can. We'll see what we can do for you. America Shirts. Would you
No.
let me in your shower for $50?
This be a hell of a shower.
Says Toy Box Brand.
No.
You
Next
don't have to
question.
be in there with them. Would you let them use your shower?
Wait. He just needs.
It's
to
just a
have
simple
shower.
question. Would you let me in your $50?
I'm just gonna stick with safe and just say no. There you go. Sorry.
If anybody
Better
doesn't
safe
know
than
Toy
sorry.
Box Brain, Toy Box Brain is the degeneracy of my server. He actually posts lots of not safe for work content, and it is wonderful. Oh, America Shirts 150 if we're both naked in there. You guys asked for questions and he's giving questions.
Of course we went here. Yes, because we're after 3 hours. Of course, this is the questions we go to. Oh, now Ishkate's on this other side. Okay, I see how it is. I see how it is.
I don't see anybody else really asking any questions. There's just
No
kinda-
worries. No expectations. Just want to throw it out there. But,
Speak up, peasants. We've only been on this show for 3 hours.
Mhm.
It sounds like you got too much time left.
I got turned, so no more questions from me tonight. Oh, well, sorry, Toy Boxes. How did you all meet? Frosted Sleet. Let's see. Myself and America Shirts had met each other way back about 8 months ago ish, whatever, on Good Logic server. I am a mod for Good Logic, and that's pretty much where it comes down to. Is Joe Neerman is the best. Oh.
Indubitably.
Chris Rowland says body wash or bar soap. Only natural soaps are the best in body wash or bar. Don't use some of this stuff that they have out in this world that has all these chemicals and stuff in it. Be careful what you're using.
yep.
From Good Logic, that's where I found you. Yep, exactly. Exactly. Last
Hey.
week, a couple of weeks ago, we actually, I actually went and Megan did it first. She went and she paid good dollars to raid me. I picked up about 100
Where the
subs.
hell is me?
Last week, Saturday, I went and I paid him $2 to actually come and raid me, and he did it again, and we picked up a bunch more. It's a great community over there as well as over here. Is Good Logic
Absolutely.
sick tonight? I couldn't answer that. I have really no clue what happened to Good Logic not streaming.
Yeah.
I really don't know what happened. Winning Reality. I actually met him 2 weeks ago. I'd seen him in somebody else's chat, and I went and I followed him, and I seen that he was doing a live, so I jumped into his chat and I asked him a couple questions. I want to say one of them was, who is the best president and why is it Trump?
Mhm.
And he gave me the most confusing answer. He's like, I don't even know how to answer that. I said, perfect. I need to talk to you. Hit me up. And we got him into Discord, and that's how I met him. So I do my legwork when I can. Madcore Mofo, if Trump does run for president again, what part would you all pay to him making back into the White House? What part would you all play to support him making back into the White? I mean, just simply voting and voting the way you actually feel in your heart is the best. You
And
should
getting
actually
involved in your
vote.
community.
We're
And
not like
getting involved
Australia,
in
where if you
politics,
don't
vote.
vote, you get
Goes
fined.
on.
We actually can do whatever we like. We don't have to vote if we don't want to. But really, if you're not liking the way things are, vote against it. Vote against this regime that's there. They're going to continue with their democratic ways and push their negativity wherever they possibly can.
Absolutely. Outside of just voting, I won't be campaigning like we had to do in the Ron Paul days too much. But I will want what I think I can do best to help is to get people thinking about what we can do when we have the opportunity to do
I mean,
it.
this right here.
Yeah.
Our format right here. Your format, Winning Reality. I mean, all of it, people listening, people watching.
Right. Exactly.
People
understanding
inspiring
what's
the
going
recall
on.
solutions and just be like, maybe just bringing the awareness to the fact that, hey, we might have a great opportunity to really make some progress here real soon. And we should all kind of think about how, like, it's like your question says, like how we can help out in our own way. Like, what's your specialty? What are you good at? Where can you focus some energy? If everybody puts a little bit of energy in, it goes a long ways when everybody's together.
A little bit of energy that he's talking of is just simply liking, sharing, and subscribing any of your favorite content creators' projects, anything that they do. You go and do all those things for them.
T-shirts.
And get
Wearing
that word
t-shirts.
out. Right. AmericaShirtsAreFirst.com.
That is
Buy T-shirts. Winning Reality. He has his own channel. You go to, you do the same thing that you do from subscribe. You get that word out, and everybody will be so much better off for actually knowing that there's people out there that actually know how to actually speak of the way we need to move ourselves. The Democratic Party uses a donkey because it was originally called out as the Jackass Party. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it still amazes me that some of the things they've been able to get away with is like convincing the world of. I mean, like the way that they convinced the world that let's see, someplace if you don't want to vote, there you go. That they convinced the world that they switched parties with, like, people actually believe that. It's like it never happened. It was like a story, if you will. I mean, they could call it a rebranding. Instead of being overt racist, they become covert racist. I guess that a rebranding could be a good analogy for that. But that people can fully deal with the fact they're in the Democrat Party, where the KKK was from, today. That they have to come up with this lie that it switched around, and they just buy into it. If you look into it for 5 minutes, you'll find out that's not the case. It's amazing, absolutely amazing.
Sports has an idea there. I think you should be able to answer a few current event questions before you vote. You cut down the he or she is cute or my fam's always voted this way voters. And to go along with that, yeah, exactly. I lived in a county that was very, very Democratic. Yes, we did vote down ticket the way we were told to do. Always vote blue. And only after finding out what Obama had done twice, I turned myself around and I could not vote for that woman, Hillary Clinton, and I went and I voted for Trump, and then went home and grabbed his and started having conversations with my current, at that time, girlfriend, and I moved on from that real quick because when you actually go off of these types of thoughts, like she's sharing, it is an issue and a problem. Because yes, you do not know what you're actually looking at. You're just going, oh yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, and the other thing that that gets me is a spite voter. The spite voter is the one that just voted against Trump because TV taught him to hate him and doesn't know anything about it. Won't listen to any accomplishments. Doesn't have any real facts. Complete spite. I have a friend that his mom was actually a big time person in the Democratic Party in Georgia or something like that, right? Just to give you a good idea of what a great mother she was. She used to
like circumference big, like Stacey Abrams big.
I've never seen her, but going by him probably. But here, just to give you an idea of what a great mom she was. What she used to do is she used to go to Dead shows and leave him in the car with a bag full of candy. So she would go into the Dead show trip, listen to the sets, come back out, and then he'd just be sitting in there eating candy the entire time. And she was on tour, so she went from city to city following them. Great mom, huh? So, anyways, yeah, after Trump lost, the night election. When he voted, he came, and I tried to talk about it. I had him talking to Ron Paul for a minute, after Obama's second one. Ron Paul
with Trump and in certain terms to.
Oh no, I said he lost.
No, I know he did.
Okay,
I'm just saying. You just make sure that you pay attention to what you're actually.
Gotcha.
Going after there, yeah.
Really? Oh no, I was going to say that.
Yeah. YouTube sucks.
He said, right?
Fuck
I know.
you, Susan.
Everyone else is back.
But what he said was, he said, went and cast my vote against Trump. I was just like, man, just a spite vote, this pure spite. Didn't even think about the consequences to other people just for doing that. Didn't even think of, that's okay if so and so went on TV on C-SPAN and groped kids for 2.5 hours in front of the world and nobody cared. It's like, yeah, just against him because I don't like him because anyways, that's a spite voter, right? They vote out of spite. They don't vote with their brain.
Right, exactly. They vote out of spite, and then when you actually do anything opposite, they actually hold you at the stake for it or whatever. It's like I had shut down my Facebook whatever, and I did it on purpose because I had over 1,000 quote unquote what they called friends / acquaintances that I really seriously lost about 300 of them the moment that they found out that I voted for Trump, because they're like, oh really? Oh no. And they seriously, so many of them removed themselves. So many of them stopped talking to me because they're like, oh my God, he's thinking different than what we ever been taught.
Yeah, I was like,
to the point. Hold on. To the point that I actually lost family members to the same thing, such as mom and dad. Talk to me because they try to, but they don't. They refuse to, because that's what we were always taught to do. A very, very blue county. It's just ridiculous and stupid. that nobody would rather actually do the research and just do what mainstream media tells you. And I'd had my mom actually look at me and say, there's only one news source. Oh, okay. Thank you. Don't lie to me. I know better.
Man.
You
Yeah.
know?
it's
That's how
rough,
things
man.
work. Right. Exactly.
That's rough.
It sucks. It's so stupid.
It's like suddenly you like with old friends. Like I had friends of like 30 years, that we never had a blowout like that. I think maybe, but it's usually it's about that, right? That we don't talk anymore or try to catch up. And in one case, one of my best friends, I just tried to warn him about Biden before he voted for him and showed him that video of him. He has a daughter, he grew up with those kids up on that stage. And, he just couldn't believe he didn't. I don't think he even watched much of it. I think he's dismissed it, but got offended at the fact I tried to, save him from voting for an ice skater or a chipper food, right? And I
still love this.
And that was somehow
This is going to
offensive.
be a thing. You watch,
But
ladies and gentlemen.
you
heard it
just
here
say,
first.
we didn't meet at a political rally. We became friends a totally different way, and we had all these important, fun times together, big monumental events. I was there when your kids were born, and I was there when your second kid was born. You were there when my kid was born, who was born on his birthday. And it's just like, really close friends. There was like 30 people at my kid's birth that was like all out there hanging out for like hours. I just walk in the room, walk back out. Hey, what's going on? It's like a party out there, But now it comes down to an old man that neither one of us know, and the fact that I have these opinions about him, and I would never want him to lead me in any way, shape, or form. And then the other guy, they think it's the end of time, right? So you're just like, dude, it's just such a weird thing, man. There's no other answer for it than mind control. How do you turn someone's heart off like that? That I thought, like, when I came out and would like talk about my views and who I supported and why, and had the courage to do that it would be a snap in their, it would make them really question. Well, hold on, we've known him for so long. He's one of our best friends. Why? What is it? What interests him so much? And the people that said they'd always be there for you. Well, if I'm down the wrong road so far, and it's so terrible, where's the rescue mission, man? Where's the intervention from the people who said they had my back? I had their back. I sure showed it, but it's like, that's the kind of thing that, people on our side have had to go through because of this. And it's ridiculous to watch people you love and care about have their mind controlled and their hearts turned off by freaking, the worst amongst us. We can't do that. We can't do anything about it to stop it. We have to just let them go. Which, I guess that's fine. It's fine. We had great times. I just think about those. But it sucks, man. And to lose parents, and luckily nobody in my family has turned their backs on each other over this. But we definitely have a divided group on what's going on here. But we kind of just don't talk about it. Which is
I never use Facebook anymore. They're all just completely batshit. Like anybody that I was ever friends with, they're all just completely
Anybody that
insane.
has a Facebook, just delete it now.
We surrendered Facebook to the other side.
Just remove it from your life.
We'll
Mark
take YouTube.
Zuckerberg is not the right person to fund on anything.
Right.
Swartz has
CIA
a great point. She has a great point. She's like, I think it would be much fairer if every candidate was allowed the same amount of money for campaigns. I agree. Anybody that's in government, in politics, that's been there forever, should not be able to invest in any type of corporate donation whatsoever. Because when they give them money, it just is snowballs and keeps on giving more and more money. And that's where they go. They turn around like Nancy Pelosi's husband and buys, millions and millions of dollars worth of stock in certain things like Nvidia. And, just so happens to be worth so much more money now because, hey, whatever. That's the big thing right now is chip manufacturing. So you really have to seriously think about who you're voting for. There's a lot of people that have been there for 50, 60 years that need to go away. They need to go away so badly, and the government needs to be revamped. It really does.
Yep. You know, I saw something in chat that made me think about a question I wanted to ask, and it is, you know, forward thinking. Let's put all these things and these problems down for a second, and just think about the future of media, and what I mean by media is medium, you know, the medium of information, right? So that you know, where we think it's going, because you know, so many times in this whole journey, right? We've seen the technologies jump and change and so on. And there you go, Oculus, right? So I wanted to ask about VR. Like, what do you think that the future of this type of medium is, and where do you think it could go? And what do you think about where it might end up? And is VR one of those places? What would it look like? You know, what do you guys think?
Dystopic hell is generally what I think with VR. I think because everybody wants to think that, like, you know, well, not everybody, but a lot of people like to think, you know, the Ready Player One movie, like, oh, it's going to be so, you know, like, that'd be so fun. Like, we're all playing. No, ladies and gentlemen, the beginning of that film, it's hell. It's dystopic hell. That's the hell that they want you to live in, to the point that you don't even want to live in reality.
Well, you know what's coming right around the corner, right? This is what's about to hit with Oculus 2, or is it 2 or 3? 2. The new one coming out, right? It's going to break some boundaries that haven't been able to be broken yet, and the merging of AI and VR. So it's going to become a part of life, no matter how dystopic we think it is, because that's the nature of information in human beings. One thing you learn in media studies. Did someone else say they had a media studies degree? Maybe it wasn't on this.
Oh, there's Chris Ron right there. That's the comment of the hour right there. That's exactly. VR is the next step to make.
Yeah, but it's gonna be so light and easy on your face compared to what they have right now. Like, you're looking at the big cell phones from the 80s right now, right? That's what we have. That's what those are, right? But they're gonna be super easy, and they're going to be able to be going in and out of reality very easily and smoothly. They're going to become part of people's work, in a sense that the AR environment, you're going to be able to do things and meetings and do more stuff like you're there. So you don't have to actually go into this big corporate buildings that suck. And you know, they're going to become more utilitarian. It's going to become like the phones, right? We would say the phones now
it'll just
they'll track you, they know what you're doing, all that stuff. But then we end up adopting it, right? So it's because it get information faster. We all want information faster. And so the reason why I ask, aside from personal feelings about it, what's to say that we are indifferent about it? What's it going to look like? You know, like how would it evolve? Because if we could figure this out, we kind of get ahead of the curve, right? It's just one of those things. Maybe it's not as bad as we've seen it because we're in charge now and we can make it a good thing. You know, we could take that scenario too. So
I don't like it at all. Other than to play like a game, or like, you know, like, ooh, this would be fun for like a little fun fling. But people need to live in reality.
Yeah. Well, I have a hard time believing it would be fun to hang out unless it was like, you know, it was interactive or something. I have a hard time, you know, thinking I'd like to watch this in VR, because, you know, it's just like I don't think that it would be that much fun. You know?
Dress truth comment.
That's why God made we
that's an
to
interesting
escape
perspective.
this reality for a bit. Yes, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, who knows, right? But I guess there'll always be a YouTube live stream availability. I think about Blog Talk Radio and like where that came, you know, how that was like kind of an original thing back in its day, and how it evolved into streaming, you know, in a sense. But you never know. If you get ahead of it, man, you may make $1 million. Buy the right stock.
Talking trash and truth. I'd like to actually get you in my Discord. We actually give you a little bit of a conversation. I'd be interested in talking to you. If there's a way that we can actually do that, I don't know if you need an email or something to get a hold of me, or if we can just throw you a link if you're in Discord. That way we can actually, speak with each other. Otherwise, hit me up on Twitter. Search Koolfrogg the way you see it on the screen, KOOLFROGG, and send me a DM. We'll get you in Discord somehow, and speak with you. Your thoughts are interesting. I usually don't just throw Discord links out on live stream, whatever, because you just pull in.
Well, we are going
Yeah.
for 4 hours.
We are going on 4 hours. That is for sure.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's if there's nothing else that you guys would like to share, why don't you go ahead and we can shell yourselves out, let them know where they can actually find you, and we'll go away.
All right. Well, I'm on YouTube. I'm Winning Reality. Please stop by and subscribe and hit the bell, please. I'm Shadow Bam. Love to have you in the conversation. I'll be doing part 2, coming up part 2 of my watch along with Yuri Bezmenov. He's not going to actually be there, but he'll be the topic. We'll be watching his videos, and I'm just kind of like going through it and modernizing it and talking about each parts of it. And I will be upcoming when next week or 2. I'll be on with V Radio. So I hope to see you around, man. Totally had a great time tonight. Thank you so much, Koolfrogg and Shirts. I appreciate it. And man, many more. And when I get my rig going, you guys have to come over and visit too. My visitor, my StreamYards, that is. I'm probably like end of the month, beginning of next month. Hopefully I'll have it up and running and all that stuff. So no, I really appreciate it. It's great meeting you guys. I've had a lot of fun hanging out in the community here, getting to know people, a lot of awesome people, a lot of great things going on. And I'm excited about it. I think we're going to have a really fun year with hopefully a really great end to it with, a stint in a house in our hands.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Stay with us until the end.
Pleasure to
and make sure you check out. Yeah, it's absolutely. Stay with us until the end. That way we can actually get exact goodbyes with you. Everybody make sure you check out AmericaShirtsAreFirst.com.
That is AmericaShirtsAreFirst.com. Go there and use the discount code Koolfrogg to save 15% on anything in the store. That is the discount code Koolfrogg at AmericaShirtsAreFirst.com. You can grab the Abolish the FBI t-shirt that I have, the new one. Brand spanking new, beautiful gold letters, big beautiful letters on the front, big beautiful t-shirt there. Go grab yourself some. Join the movement, people. We need to abolish the FBI. To hell with these people.
And being that I'm not monetized, if you want to actually support me, make sure you go to buymeacoffee.com/Koolfrogg and support me immediately. There is a PayPal link down below as well. And if anything else, hit the Rumble links for both myself and America Shirts.
Oh, yeah. I got a Rumble. Go check him out, Rumble.
I got a Rumble. He's got a huge Rumble channel. He's doing very well over there. Hit those links. Hit those links up as much as you possibly can. Hit that locals link for me. Come over, support me over there. I will be producing content. It's just taking me some time to actually be able to set myself up and get that actually going. All that being said, everybody say goodbye.
Take
Later,
care.
peeps.
Later.
Ah!